real slippery from all that baby oil, so you're going to want to go ahead and just make sure you got a firm grip on her ass to keep her.
You're just going to hold her nice and tight there.
Let's get to fucking.
Let's take that bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's and just open it on up.
Yeah. Oh, man. Y'all
It's
gonna
nice 250 degrees in here, so I'm just going to slather us both up in Sweet Baby Ray's. Oh, yeah.
Man, I wish you could all smell it in here. The smell's incredible.
Smells incredible.
Now, my wife likes to open the window when we're done, but I like to keep it closed just to make sure.
Trap in that heat and humidity. Keep it nice and warm.
Get that fuck stank in the room. That's what you want. That's where your flavor is.
She's going to try to get out the door. You're going to want to get in front of the door and trap that heat stank in here.
This is so bad. Let's get to fucking.
Let's get to fucking. Hey, it's me, Malcolm Reed. How to fuck your wife right.
Today I'm going to be lathering her up with some whipped cream, some chocolate sauce. I'm going to go ahead and lay a plastic mat down on my bed, make sure I don't get it covered. It's going to be a real good time. She's going to love it. Let's get to fucking.
Let's get to fucking.
So first thing you want to do is bind your wife. You can use just any regular old twine for this. We have these specialty butt baby under bed straps. We're just going to go ahead and wrap her up real tight so you see there she can't move at all. Then we're going to want to get her covered up with some just a nice lube layer of chocolate sauce. You can use whatever you like. I got my own
mustard myself. You won't taste it very much in the final product, but she just binds all those ingredients,
binds it all together
all over her sweaty body.
And then you want to go ahead and get some sprinkles, and you can use whatever kind of sprinkles you want. I like to go ahead and use my own Killer Hogs
wife sprinkles.
They taste real good, lapping them up, and they don't throw off the pH balance in her body.
That's important. That's important.
That's so bad.
When you got a channel on YouTube where you cover your wife in chocolate sauce and barbecue and sprinkles, it's important to not also give her a yeast infection while you're doing it.
Well, yeah, you got to be careful.
It's the least you could do.
The least you can do.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What's this wee shit?
Yeah, right. Ben's sitting patiently waiting for us to get tired of this bit.
Let's get to fucking.
Let's get to fucking.
That's only funny if you've ever watched the How to Barbecue Right YouTube channel.
It's kind of funny either way.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a guy like, we're gonna want to make sure you keep all the windows and doors closed. You don't want to let any of that smell out of the room afterwards.
You want to get like humid and hot and like real uncomfortable to where nobody in their right mind would want to stay in that room.
What I like to do is just go ahead and turn the heat up in here just to make sure you get extra sweaty.
Like the dogs outside the room barking like hell because he knows something's wrong.
Welcome to the Three Dude Show.
Yeah, let's just start like this. Fuck it.
It's Tuesday as always. We are here
Tuesday
because we choose to be here.
Yep.
And because we want to entertain ourselves and you fine folks.
Yeah.
On this most distressing and stupid of Tuesdays.
Happy Super Dudes Day, everybody.
Super Dudes Day.
Yeah, buddy.
So I am going to try to not look at the news until we're done with this show.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I will make the concerted effort to not as well.
Let's try not to do that, even though it's going to be really tempting. Because I feel like it could be a huge downer. It could be good, but it could be a huge downer. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to know.
Typically are a huge downer.
Even when they're good, they're bad.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's Super Dudes Day.
Super Dudes Day.
Half the country is wearing those I voted stickers.
Yep.
And meanwhile, we just have meat grease on our faces.
Yes.
Right.
Literally.
Like you do.
As opposed to figuratively having grease. Yeah, Dave smoked up a rack of ribs. You want to get them on the smoker. Just go ahead and use some hickory lump charcoal.
And the meat tasted doubly good because
I hunted it myself.
hunted the animal himself.
Is there anything weirder than that Zuckerberg video?
Yeah, Zuckerberg did not hunt the animal himself.
No,
Let's
he
be
did.
real.
No way did he do
He went
that.
to Sam's Club or whatever rich people go, Whole Foods.
Yeah.
He went to and bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zuckerberg does not
Probably
go to,
Whole Foods.
Only Mark Zuckerberg could take something that sounds as fun as hanging out with your buddies in the backyard, having some beers and smoking meats, and make it look like the weirdest, most awkward affair possible.
Right. Yeah. It's just like I think it's this big, creepy, unblinking lizard eyes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And like whenever a dude that looks like that is sitting in front of a grill, I'm not sure necessarily if there's people inside.
The fact that he has no lips, the fact that he seems to have to try to remember how to smile.
He's kind of like occasionally licks his tongue.
Yeah.
I love it.
yeah, the Illuminati know that he's like got a bad rep with the whole Facebook thing, so they were trying to find him more, find a way to make him more relatable.
The Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Illuminati.
Of which he's obviously a member. I mean, am I crazy?
I mean, if there is one, they're probably trying to get him to join.
Zuckerberg's is the lizard person is what I'm going for here.
Yes.
He's absolutely not human.
Reptilian piece of shit.
No, the Illuminati.
Lord Lord!
The Illuminati is different from the lizard people, though.
Right.
The Illuminati are trying to protect us from the lizard people.
Or
And
are
I
they?
hope that they win. I really do. But I think it's too late.
So anyway, apart from the obvious reasons for Super Tuesday and all that, we're fucked.
Yes, we are. We sure are, buddy.
Yes, we are.
Both of you seem very eager to discuss this.
I have a stupid one, but yes, I'm very excited to talk about it.
Why are you fucked, Dave?
So today I went over to the Golden Dawn to pick up energy drinks in the middle of the workday, and while I was there at the counter, there was
Golden Dawn?
The
Yeah,
golden,
you know the Dawn.
The golden.
or not the
Golden
Dawn.
Just the
Tunis.
Golden? The food
Golden,
mart?
yeah, the Golden, not the
Yeah.
Golden. Golden Dawn's a restaurant.
Restaurant, yes.
What the hell is the Golden Food Mart? Is what I'm
the
thinking.
golden
Yeah.
Punis.
The Golden Dawn is that restaurant, which is not
Is
what
it
I was
a
thinking.
Chinese place?
No, actually, it was an Italian place. It's over by YSU. Have you
Oh.
never been to the Dawn?
The,
No,
the
never.
Golden Dawn is an Italian place.
No, but now that you
That seems really funny to me.
It doesn't sound like one.
It doesn't
No,
sound like an
it
Italian
sounds like a
place.
Chinese
It
place.
really
Oh,
does.
well, welcome to the Golden Dawn. We got
Hey.
Szechuan pork. We got crispy fried egg rolls. What the fuck you want?
You want like some pasta with like some buffalo something?
Moogle goddamn, what you want?
What you want? You want a
Hey.
little, what? You want a little bit of fried octopus? We got that.
You want like a sushi parmesan or something?
Sushi Parmesan. Ugh.
Sounds horrible, doesn't it?
Yummy.
No, so the Golden Food Mart is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So I went over there to get some energy drinks, and while I was there, I noticed at the counter while I'm buying my drinks, there's this little stack of Oreos. Like, it looks like a promotional thing where the vendors will put something up front to see if people like it, you know?
Okay.
It's the new Oreo, the most stuff
Oh, yeah.
Oreo
I've
cookies.
seen it.
Literally just cream.
It's a 4-pack of Oreos. They're so fucking tall with cream. It's ridiculous.
Listen, man.
The stuff threshold has been crossed to a point that I don't think we can ever
Here's
come
the
back.
thing, and this is an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
The chocolate cookie is the best part of the Oreo.
I am
super good.
completely on board with you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually the best.
The
part.
Oreo doesn't get better when you add stuff.
The cream is just the warm up for the chocolate cookie part.
Let's call it stuff.
Yeah. The
It's
stuff.
stuff.
The stuff. The stuff is just the stuff that comes before the actual cookie.
I tend to think the more time you spend trying to get that fucking stuff out of the way, you're missing out on quality cookie time.
Agreed. That's why I like to use my teeth, because it scrapes a little bit of that cookie with the stuff.
Yeah, right. As far as I'm concerned, you don't need all that stuff. And
Nah.
they did the double stuff, and that blew people's minds. So then they they
Right.
keep adding stuff, and now it's just like quadruple stuff.
Yeah, I want the cookie. Can't they give me no stuff?
They can and they do. They give you the thin cookie
That's right.
with the thin stuff. I almost said cream again.
Yeah, no, it's the
thin
stuff.
stuff inside. The point I'm making is there's too much stuff.
Agreed.
Let's get rid of all this stuff. I was actually like standing there okay, so what happened was I'm buying my energy drinks and I say to the guy that owns the place, who happens to be working, like, God, this is a ridiculous Oreo, isn't it? And then he gets defensive. He's like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with this cookie? Which is not what I intended. But then the guy who's standing at the lotto counter goes, that's a problem with the young people. They got too much sugar all the time.
Yeah,
Put too much. And I hate him.
You opened up Pandora's box.
Exactly.
You got old guys talking about candy.
Yeah. Right. The thing there to do there is go, and then just pay for whatever you bought. Yeah.
So like he's talking about people, young kids, they eat too much sugar and too much fat. I try not to eat too much fried food, but every now and then I'll have some. And he's just like going and going and going. So I'm like, yeah, I'm smoking ribs at home, and just like try to change the subject. Like, I got ribs. That's not a fried food. Can we talk about anything else? And
no, we can't, because he's over the age of 60. Well, then he's going to keep going.
He just kept kind of on his thing about, well, that's fine because the fat drips off. But these people, there's too much fried food and too much sugar. And I was like, I immediately regretted trying to form a human connection with someone, because the two old dudes either didn't want to talk about it at all, or wanted to talk about it in the context of all the young people are stupid and fat.
And then after you left, he got a tin of Skull.
He probably did. Right. He probably did. And he was at the lotto counter. Yeah. That's not. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, give me 3 of those $30 tickets up there.
Right.
These kids and their fried food.
Yeah, right.
It's fucking.
I'll take a pack of Misty menthols. Why is he smoking Misties?
Why isn't he
what a
smoking
fucking
Misty?
pussy?
like a pack of Virginia Slims menthols, please.
These kids and all the fried food. Yeah, I just keep seeing kids walking around eating onion rings.
Everywhere I go, it's the onion rings. I'm going, kids, Jesus Christ.
Bernie,
my wise onion rings.
My cholesterol. Fred, you gotta watch your amino acid intake. Bernie, I want to eat my Funyuns. Fred, you can't fucking have them.
They're against the law in this state.
Fred, you're gonna lose your foot.
Your diet is doing nothing but increasing the risk of your prostate exploding.
Fred, you're gonna die if they don't pass a soda tax.
Anyway, the point is, I made a mistake and tried to talk to two old men about how there's too much cream in a cookie, and it didn't work out.
Just don't talk to people. I find
I
find people generally distasteful.
I don't think I like them anymore.
I don't really like people. I haven't liked people for a while. I just find them generally distasteful.
Yeah.
Generally distasteful. So it's not worth it. It's just not worth talking to people.
Well, I was disappointed.
Just talk to the people that you know, because those are the people that use shit you could deal with every day.
Sure. Those are the people you can reliably count on actually wanting to talk to
about the amount of stuff in a cookie.
Confirm your opinion.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
But I will say, again, to the point, I agree. There's too much stuff.
There is.
There's too much stuff.
There is.
Quadruple stuff is like a bad cookie
It's too
experience.
much stuff, yeah.
I wanted to buy one just to be like, is it as bad as I think? But I know where
bad.
it's going.
Bad. If you've ever pulled apart a double stuff and stacked it on top of another double stuff,
That's
which you have to do, like, it's not that good.
No.
It's the worst.
No, I feel like I would just get sick of most stuff Oreo like halfway through it.
Yeah. I'll tell you this.
Like even like a moon pie, which is a beloved treat, is like a little too much for me.
It's a lot of it's just a lot of
But
cream.
I mean, I'm not huge on sweets really.
Please, Dave, stuff.
The moon pie has cream. The Oreo has stuff.
Yeah.
I stand by this.
And the Twinkie has filling.
Right, it does.
It's too much filling.
I will say this. The way to enjoy an Oreo is to get the regular Oreo, dip it in milk for long enough that you almost lose it, and then eat that.
Yeah.
Yep.
An Oreo is meant to be dunked in milk,
Yeah.
regular Oreo, normal stuff.
See, I agree.
That's it.
I pull it apart, eat the cream, and then dunk the two chocolate cookies in milk.
Fuck, are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
I'm not opposed to that idea.
Yeah, no, because I like the cookie part. So I don't want the cream. The milk is enough stuff for me. I don't need extra stuff when I'm dunking it in the milk.
But the thing is, I like this stuff, but just the regular stuff. Maybe even thin would be better.
Maybe that might be the solution.
Thin, don't eat the stuff.
Right.
Well, shit, I think we've just stumbled across a paradigm-shifting cookie theorem.
Yeah. I think we got it.
Towards a grand unified theory of Oreo.
Well, that's it for me.
All right.
Thank God.
Chris, why are we fucked?
We're fucked because I can't stop breaking furniture. It's like
It isn't even.
It's not even funny anymore.
Not even funny. It's
not even funny.
It's baffling.
It's baffling. Like the thing is, it makes sense because I'm a large person.
Sure.
And I plop down really hard on chairs.
That's where it is.
But in particular, I've broken your futon, and then
famously on the dude,
Which was hilarious.
famously on the old YouTube show, and then I've broken like several of your chairs. I broke another one last D&D session.
Yes.
Just sitting down too hard. Now, and like everybody's trying to make me feel better. Like, it's an older chair. It's sat out in the sun for a long time.
That's all true.
Doesn't matter. It's you know what else is true is
It matters.
I'm a fat fuck.
Right, but I'm also a fat fuck, and I think I'm a fatter fuck than you are.
I don't know about that.
I think so. At least in terms of pure weight, I think I'm fatter than you.
Anyway.
I think it's the plop.
It's probably the plot.
I think it's the way you plop.
But the thing is,
matters
it's
a
like
lot.
it's baffling. It was funny the first couple times it happened. It's not funny anymore.
It was super funny when you ripped the arm out of a plastic chair.
Yeah, that one wasn't like
Which
a
should be
plopping
impossible.
down thing.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with your weight.
No, that was me
terror.
in terror, literally ripping the arm off of a plastic lawn chair.
And by the way, where
In
you
one
ripped
chunk.
it, there were no joints where you ripped it.
Yeah.
It broke not on joints, but in the middle of the plastic piece.
Yeah.
Which defies probably I imagine the standards that chair was built to.
Apparently, I'm stronger than I think I am.
Oh, I think so.
I just pulled the entire arm off of the chair. Like it was really. I was just like. I remember I looked at you and I was like, Dave.
Well, we all started laughing immediately
Yeah,
because it was just stupefyingly funny.
I don't know how I did it.
Well, yeah, just terror and adrenaline and, crappy YouTube horror series was enough to do it.
Yes,
But
the,
then-
the other times have just been me sitting. It's just-
Well, I feel like we've enumerated them already, so we don't have to do it again. But
Yeah.
they do tend to be just like...
I'm up to like 6 pieces of furniture just in like our friend group.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's an insane amount of furniture.
It's not because you're fat. It's because of the way you sit down. I'm
think it's at
standing
least a
by it.
little
Well,
bit
it's partially because you're fat.
Yeah.
But also...
You fucking piece
You
of
fucking
shit.
fat bastard. But also, you
plot.
leverage your fat fucking ass into how you sit down.
Right.
And
I lean back into it. Lean back. Lean back.
The thing is, the places where the chairs break are not necessarily along where your ass is.
No,
they're where your back is.
It's more typically where my back is. Yeah, I think
So if it was just your fat butt,
it's my fat back.
it's your fat back.
We're gonna get some fat back ribs on the grill. We're gonna get them covered up with some baby lube. Baby lube.
No.
Moving right along.
No. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Ben, what do you got? Baby lube. Well, sometimes you need to like slide your infant down a tunnel to save it from, I don't know, invaders.
I was trying to say sex lube and baby oil at the same time, and they just came
Well,
out.
baby oil is essentially baby lube.
Yeah, I guess so.
It does slick up your baby.
Makes them ideal for curling.
I don't know. I don't know why you slick up your baby, but I imagine
For
there's
curling.
reason- well, sure.
When they start walking, I want to like lube it up, and then like if I ever have a kid, I want to like baby oil it up and then chase it and see if I can catch it.
I want
Like
me and a
grease pig.
baby in the middle of like a basketball court.
Yeah, dude.
And it's all like ringed off, and I can't quite catch the baby because I'm slippy and he's slippy too.
Slippy, get back here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to chase the baby, and meanwhile, a whole bunch of people are just scooting him along, so I can't
Right.
catch him.
And you'd sell tickets to this event,
Right.
For like $10.
Yeah,
Right.
Cavelli would do it.
Sure. Cavelli's first invitational baby scoot. Brought to you by Johnson & Johnson Baby Lube.
And by WKBN 27 for snooze.
Because they need content.
Anyway, I'm bad at sitting, and I keep breaking things.
Bad at sitting.
Bad at sitting.
I think it's like anything else. You sit down, you expect a chair to just be a chair.
Yeah.
You don't expect a chair to fall apart.
No. But maybe if I took better care of myself and or stopped sitting down like the Hiroshima bomb, I'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if only did essentially pile drive your body into
Right.
every chair.
I wouldn't have a bunch of irradiated little chairs running around going, oh no. Because, I don't know.
Because of the Hiroshima bomb.
Right. That
If
is
only
my ass and
Fat
back.
man is you.
Fat man is me. I am fat man.
You're the bum.
No, I'm not little boy. Whatever it is.
I don't think this joke works.
No, it doesn't. It sure doesn't, buddy. Anyway, Ben.
Yes.
Hey Ben, you want to try to wrest sanity out of this episode, please?
Sure. We're fucked because, well, first of all, we're fucked because, climate change and all.
Yeah, we know about that.
We're coming out of winter now, and it's only been
It's been
in the past couple weeks that it's actually fucking snowed like really at all.
And that's over for a while too.
And that's over for a while.
The minute we hit March, it's all rain and
but
gloomy.
But there was enough snowy weather in the intervening time since the last time we did this Dudecast for me to complain about the fact that people go 10 miles under the speed limit when the roads are perfectly fine.
every fucking year.
Read the road.
The second an inch of snow hits the ground, people start losing their fucking minds and driving like they're about to hit an IED.
Every year.
Yeah, I know.
Consistent.
The irony is, as you know, that when people do this, that is what often causes a fucking accident. Is someone comes out of somewhere and they're driving and they don't expect the person going 10 or 15 or even 20 miles under the speed limit, and then they get a jam on the brakes, and then the person behind them has to jam on the brakes, and all of a sudden there's a fucking pile up of 10 cars on 680. This is how it works.
Yeah, people don't. It's like you said, read the road. People don't fucking know how to do it.
You guys do what I do? When it's snowy and you're not sure, you go out, you head up some straight stretch of road, and you jam on your brakes. And you see if you slide, what it looks like.
I mean, I certainly test my brakes.
Yeah, right. I mean, not necessarily like slam on them, but like, you
Right.
you hit the brakes hard and see if you slide, and you get an idea what the roads are like.
Yeah.
And you do that like every road you hit, just to have an idea of like what it's like.
Yeah. I don't even test them. I just blindfold myself and kind of pray,
Yeah,
just go
right.
for it.
I just get in there.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
I put a brick on the accelerator. I blindfold myself. I light a cigarette and see what happens.
Yep.
And of course, the trick is not to reduce your speed. The trick is to brake earlier than you normally would, if you suspect the roads are bad.
Right.
But people with Ohio plates who ostensibly should know about how to drive in this kind of weather fucking don't, and it happens every goddamn year. And I'm sick of it.
Every time.
Well, the good news for you is I don't think we're getting a whole lot more snow. I really don't. I think we might be done. I could be wrong. I say this every year, and I'm usually wrong, but I think this is it.
It's
Well, it's a good thing the planet's dying, because then we don't have to.
awesome.
We don't have to deal with winter for.
Right.
The planet's not dying. The planet's going to be fine.
No,
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
Right. No, yeah. The planet is baking us off of it as retribution for our filthy sins.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Planet will be fine.
yeah. But anyway, that was just a quick one.
Yeah.
Other than that, lately I've been feeling pretty good and not very fucked at all.
Well, that's
Well,
good.
that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why.
Quit fucking bragging.
It's good. I feel like in general, we kind of have our highs and lows as a gang.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we are right now, but at least we're not like in the deep shit.
Depression town. Just taking that one-way ticket, one-way street over to Depressionville via the.
If you love watching me microwave a hot dog and I don't have any buns, you're gonna love watching me file for unemployment.
Welcome to Chris Brady's life.
If you love
Watching me sleep until noon.
You're gonna love when my wife physically fights me over the dishes.
Welcome to Divorced Within a Yearville. Oh, God.
Well, but those things aren't happening.
No, I hope not.
Yeah.
No.
Not that you know of.
Well, anyway, pretty brief opening segment.
Yeah.
But coming up after the break, we are going to have a brand new edition of Buyer Beware.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That I hope I have done all right with.
I'm excited about this game. This is a
And,
good idea.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
It's a good game.
And we'll be back with that and the presentation of our topic,
Yes.
which is gonna get a little weird.
oh, really?
yeah.
Is it going to be weird?
We like weird.
I do like weird. How weird are you thinking? Give me like a 0 to 10. How weird is this?
I'm gonna say this could potentially get up to like 7 or 8.
Oh, okay. This is
awesome.
good. We're in.
Yes.
Immediately.
I think there's potential for this topic. I don't know where it's gonna go, but it has potential, I think.
Okay.
Also, side note, this is like the first time, maybe. How many episodes did we do in the first season before we had a guest?
Yeah, you're right. It's been a long time since we had a guest.
It's been a long time. Now I'm doing the show.
But wait, where the fuck are our
Where the
guests?
No guests. Actually,
If we asked our friends, we would have a guest.
Yes.
But we just haven't done it yet because we're lazy.
You know what? It's also fun to just do like the show, just us.
Les hommes toi.
Les emplois.
Oh, bonsoir.
Oh, bonsoir.
Oh, c'est les hommes toi.
Je compte de pâté.
Les garçons toi.
Three
boys.
The three boys.
I don't even know what's the equivalent in French. I have no idea.
The three boys.
It's not the three boys.
The three boys.
Les garçons toi.
Les garçons toi.
Bonjour. Je m'appelle Philippe. C'est Christiane et Jacques.
Je suis le Joufi.
Nous sommes les garçons toi. Et
Three boys. Is that Bjork doing?
nous sommes fucked.
Is that Bjork introducing
I
the?
was just kidding. It was me, Björk. I don't know who these three boys are.
Maître D. Jacques Cousteau.
Jean-Marie Le Pen.
So we'll be back.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
After this brief interlude of
Right.
content.
Yeah, we don't. It's nothing. It's just us.
We'll be right back after nothing in just a few minutes.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Three Dude Podcast. Hey, yeah.
You can find us at 3dudecast.com.
If you're wondering whether that's spelled with the numeral 3 or the word 3, the answer is yes.
We're so proud of ourselves.
We're so clever. We're such clever boys.
Wow. We've switched hosting to Podbean. You can still find us on iTunes and Google Play. So give us a like.
Yeah, give us a like, give us a listen, give us a review somewhere.
Give us a sandwich.
Give us a high five.
Give us sponsorships.
Please give us a hug.
Give us that money. Take you down. I'm gonna take you down. Shoot to thrill. Shoot to thrill. Shoot to thrill. Shoot to thrill.
I don't even know which one this one
Shoot to
is.
thrill. Shoot to thrill. Shoot. Gonna shoot to thrill. Yeah.
I knew that riff sounded familiar.
I do not know what that is.
It's AC/DC.
AC acting.
All right, welcome back.
AC/DC, or their Israeli cover band.
Welcome back to the Three Dudes Show.
We're here.
We're here. We're doing our thing.
Yeah.
We're queer. Get used to it.
We're here. We're all gay now. Get used to it.
Sorry, baby.
I'm not.
So we're gonna continue the episode. We're gonna continue the episode with a game called Buyer Beware.
Oh, what is this? Some kind of game or something?
It's like you're trying to play some kind of like trivia game with me or some shit.
Is this reality or bullshit or something?
It's like some kind of thing where something's true and something's not true.
So, the concept we're familiar with.
Yes.
I read you actual critical reviews of different things on Amazon. You gotta tell me what the thing is that is being reviewed.
I'm excited. I like this game.
So the first one, because again, I always say I'll give you a general category. General category. This first one is a film
Okay.
to start off with. Evil Spoon says, "It was interesting, but very unrealistic. Animals can't talk or do any of this stuff."
Okay.
I have an idea in
I
mind
guess.
already. Oh, fuck. What's the name of that?
I'm going to lean towards Madagascar.
Madagascar. That's it. I was going to say the one with Chris Rock and David Schwimmer.
Could be a lot of movies, but I feel like for some reason,
Okay.
Madagascar.
Seems like Madagascar.
Yeah.
Okay. James says, it was okay. I wouldn't buy it, but it was worth seeing. I felt that they tried to throw too many subtle political messages into this movie.
That could be any movie about
Yeah,
animals.
right. Well, yeah, that's the thing is like increasingly every movie, even kids' movies, is like fucking jam packed with political shit.
See, the most political one I can think of is Happy Feet. Because Happy Feet is literally just a thinly veiled message for the liberal agenda. Like if you boil it down,
when you really pay attention to Happy Feet, it's really all about getting the minimum wage up to $15 and legalizing weed.
the movie Happy Feet about the penguin.
Yes. Yeah, the penguin that smokes weed and is underpaid for his job as a penguin.
Okay, so how about this one?
Okay.
An anonymous Amazon customer says, trying to make too many public statements while being stereotypical and racist at the same time. I didn't find it that funny or entertaining.
Going back to Madagascar.
Yeah, I think it's
going back to Madagascar. It's
Immediately
some-
back to Madagascar.
Yeah, it's like some kind of African shit that they're complaining about, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like all African animals. And
I
shit.
like to move it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going back to Madagascar.
That's
Okay.
it. I think you got it on the money there.
And finally, Rio Adams says, good little movie, but I do not like the fact that the character Nick says, oh my G-D in it. When did that become acceptable to say in children's movies?
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's
Like
how
the
this,
Hebrew thing.
That's how this person wrote it, by censoring the O in God.
Okay. So, oh my God is what they said.
Yeah, but they...
He wrote G dash.
Yeah, this person omitted the O in God.
The character Nick.
Nick. You know, Nick the zebra. The anteater.
There's no character named Nick in Madagascar, I don't think.
Really?
Not that I know of.
Well, fucking what would it be?
Do you
There
want
was Melman. There was the black one. There was the other
They
black
could be
one.
wrong too about his name being Nick, but I
That's true.
They are correct. Do you want me to give you another hint?
Fuck, man.
we're off on Madagascar.
okay,
He's
see,
giving us that already.
Now I'm thinking Over the Hedge, but only because Nick Nolte played the bear.
I'm trying to think of animal movies. Like,
Fuck me.
Political animal movie that has a character named Nick.
yeah, I feel like we should know this and we don't.
Operation Dumbo Drop?
Kung Fu Panda.
No.
Yeah, the very Chinese name, Nick.
Yes, that panda named Nick.
All right.
Well,
yeah,
fuck.
we're gonna need one more, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, is there anything else you can give us?
I can tell you that Nick is a fox, if that helps.
Is it the Fantastic Mr. Fox? Could it
No.
be?
No. Is this the movie with the bunny that everybody's like? What's the name of that fucking movie?
It probably is.
With the bunny police officer. fucking the one that all those weebs are into.
I don't know what it is.
All right, I'm just gonna hold on. Let me see if I can. The one that all the weebs try and sexualize.
Oh,
Help
is
me.
it that?
Hey,
Wait, no, but where does it take
okay,
place?
Google. What's that kids movie with the sexual bunny?
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
No, that's not helping me. I know. Oh God.
I don't know. I think it's fair to say we failed this one.
Hold on. Bunny police movie.
He might be able to find it, but we still failed.
Buddy police movie.
Okay, so okay.
There can't possibly be more than one.
No,
I don't know.
I found the movie, but I feel like we've lost because
We have lost.
It's Zootopia. Is this?
Zootopia.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But we've lost. Like we've
Yeah.
totally,
No, we-
completely been stumped.
Okay, that was a good one.
That was a good one. That sex bunny that they're always like,
Oh yeah, the amount of porn
yeah, that's
revolving around Zootopia
Is that a
is
thing?
that's a
That's a-
thing.
that's a thing.
That's unfortunately
Both of the-
a thing.
both of the characters are technically speaking adults. It's
I feel like the older I get, the less I understand the internet.
it's just furries, dude.
I guess
They're nothing
it's
new.
just all furries.
So anyway, these next reviews are for a physical product.
Okay.
Okay.
Brand new, Jay Cross says, brand new out of the box, not even a week later, won't hold a charge. First pair had to return and exchange 2 times to get a working pair.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to read this one last
Okay.
because it has a pretty funny giveaway. John Gentry says, I liked them until they caught on fire while charging.
Okay. I have a very strong inclination about what
AirPods.
class of product we're talking about. They're wireless earbuds of some kind.
Yeah.
Probably AirPods. But the fact that he's reading these off of Amazon is my guess means they're probably not AirPods.
They're fake AirPods.
They're some kind of generic AirPod.
yeah.
Octavio Lozano says, not the greatest sound quality versus Studio 2, but it's been a good product. Okay, so it's been 4 months since I get this product. I hear a big laugh noise on the right side when I'm playing music. Update November 13th, 2019. Okay, so my dog eat them. They keep working.
Okay, so what's Studio 3? What's the
Beats.
upgrade?
Beats.
Is it Beats?
By Dre.
Beats wireless
Beats.
earbuds or headphones?
I'm going headphones.
If he ate them, it's got to be buds, right?
Well, like the thing is, Beats are notoriously unreliable.
Sure, but like a dog ate them.
I'm gonna go with the actual over the ear headphones. Beats.
Okay.
Beats headphones.
Okay,
I think that's my final answer. Please read the rest of these reviews.
Yeah, how much more do we have?
2 more.
Okay.
An anonymous Amazon customer says, speakers, more like tweakers. This is supposed to say weakers, but it automatically corrected it to tweakers.
Oh,
Headphones were great until 2 days after product support ended while I was flying. While I was flying, the left headphone speaker blew. I'm guessing due to pressure changes during takeoff. Now I'm left with an overwhelming and continuous static that drowns out the rest of the music.
God, this is some first world problems shit I do not
Don't
relate
fucking
to.
buy Beats. Fucking garbage.
And then going back to that J. Cross review,
Yeah.
had to exchange twice to get a working pair. To make matters worse, I'm in a remote location working for the DoD and a month before mail comes. I should have known better, but like a crazy ex who is sexy and sweet, I promise things will be different this time. Dr. Dre won't get any more of my money.
There you go. All right, so it's I would say we've gotten close enough. It's either buds or over the ear, but let's say over the ear.
It's the over-the-ear headphones.
yes.
Yeah.
Those are the studios.
This Octavio Lozano guy included a picture of the chewed up.
So like chewed up, but not eaten.
Dog.
Right.
Okay.
All right. This is a book.
Oh, I like these.
Treats by Dre. That's it.
Chin.
Linda Clemens says, classic story, but terrible version. The text reads as if it was translated to another language and then back again to English, or possibly recorded from voice. If you read in your head, you can decipher the meanings, but the typos and syntax errors are a huge distraction. For instance, Stanbul and Paris, Parrus, are places that are mentioned.
Ooh, okay. What's the category again?
Oh,
It's a book.
I know what this book is.
Yeah.
Is this The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn?
Let's.
I'm gonna lock in my answer.
It's something like that. It's definitely that's intentional.
I'm gonna lock in The Adventures of Huck Finn,
Reads like it was retranslated.
and then I will say nothing else. Read the
Okay.
rest of the
Okay.
reviews.
Art Golfer says, how on earth did, author here, become so famous? This novel was vapid in the extreme. Is it vapid? Vapid?
Vapid.
Vapid. This novel was vapid in the extreme. First of all, the plot itself was absurd and juvenile. The writing, however, was the real problem, as it was uninspiring and undemanding, insipidly boring. Easily the worst novel I've read in many years.
You saying Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn?
Yeah. Well, I have to pick one, I think. So I'm gonna say Huck Finn.
Okay.
Well, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn as one, right? That's one book, isn't it?
No, it's 2 books.
They're really not.
Yeah.
They're
2 completely different books.
Two different things. Reader 2307 says, I was looking forward to this book, but it disappointed me. It felt like a long list of evidence and facts about everyone's whereabouts at particular times. The main character was smug and arrogant, which made reading all the evidence and alibis even more frustrating. The ending was surprising and ridiculous, although I can see why some readers may find it entertaining. I've heard rumors about the author's racism, and in this book it rears its ugly head in the form of disgusting assumptions and stereotypes about the intelligence and temperaments of people who are not of English descent.
Okay. Is this our boy Jim on the raft? Who's talking about?
I don't think so. I think I have officially lost this challenge.
Yeah.
Shit.
I figured that was gonna throw you for a loop.
It has, yeah. I think I've officially lost this challenge.
Wait a minute, but then what would it?
So let me
Paras. I keep thinking of the Paris thing.
yeah, let me read this last one. This is an anonymous Amazon customer who says, "I've been a fan of this author for 30 years. Always been a great fan of her works. When I first read this novel in my country, Italy, it was redacted in some pages. Today I've read the original work. This novel fills me with great sadness. She wrote some very unfair and untrue things about us Italians. To quote the book, Italians use the knife, and they are great liars. I do not like Italians." Well, it may be that you are right, but I will point out to you, my friend, that there is absolutely no evidence against the man. And what about the psychology? Do Italians not stab? Assuredly, especially in the heat of a quarrel. I have no words, totally unfounded and insulting.
Wow, I'm fucking way off now.
Yeah,
I'm way off now. If I had any semblance of what this was, I've lost it now.
is it... okay, Wild Stab in the Dark. Is this Harper Lee's shoehorned sequel to To Kill a Mockingbird?
It is not.
Okay.
That was a great guess. Who the hell else writes?
Is this J.K. Rowling's first novel after Harry Potter?
Okay, but it is a woman author. She writes I presumably young or otherwise uneducated narrator who constantly gets shit wrong. Is this Atlas Shrugged?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Fuck.
I know.
I don't know if we're gonna get this. I don't even think we
either.
could.
The protagonist is actually very learned, and this is just these casual digs at Italians and the like are just a product of the time it was written.
Oh, okay. So those like okay.
I'm going to feel like such a fucking idiot.
I know. I
when
will
this
too.
gets-
Well, I don't know a lot. I don't know that much literature.
So it's a they're talking about someone getting stabbed. They're talking about evidence and alibis.
Yeah.
Paris and Istanbul are two locations that are mentioned and misspelled. Woman author.
we should know
We
this.
should
Is
know
what
this.
you're saying.
We should absolutely know this.
Do you give?
I give.
I give.
I'm
I
fucking
yield.
out. I don't.
These are reviews for Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh my god!
No shit.
Son of a bitch! I literally not that long ago just watched the remake of that movie.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, actually,
wanted to
I
see
was
that.
really surprised.
Yeah.
I
how
heard
good
that it was really good, and I heard that
it
it's
was
like
good.
Kenneth Branagh carries it a bit, but
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I still like the original better, but
I don't know the story, so it has not been spoiled for me. What the?
I made sure not to spoil the ending of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's been out for fucking 90 years
right.
now. So I
Oh my
mean,
god, we got
Son of a
we only got
bitch.
one of those right.
yeah, man. Ooh, score
all right,
for
this
Ben.
this one is probably going to be a little easier.
Okay.
This is another book with 5 reviews
Okay.
that I found.
Okay.
An anonymous Kindle customer says, "I don't know why I purchased this book in the first place. I have no interest in most sea stories. I guess I bought it out of curiosity, but I'm not interested anymore."
Okay, so that was my initial guess. I'm not going to guess it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait now
I'm not going to finally answer it, but I have a very sneaking suspicion for what this is
Okay.
because that was my reaction when I first read this book.
Tess says, "I didn't like it because it was too long of a book. I rate it 1 star because a lot of parts in the book I didn't understand."
Yeah.
This.
Is this for the old man in the sea?
It is not.
Oh my god, I
think
suck.
I think it's for what I think it is, but I'm not gonna say yet.
An Amazon customer, an anonymous Amazon customer says, "Read till my eyes bled, then just couldn't get it."
Is there a queequeg involved?
I can't tell you that.
Okay, let's keep going.
I think you got it.
Kurt says, "Overrated classic that runs adrift. The irony is that what I enjoyed most was the beginning land-based narrative, while the author waxed poetic of the sea. The first 15% and last 15% of the book were redeemable. The middle 70% not so much. The bow and stern were sound. The main section took on water."
Boy, sounds like a whole lot of blubber in that book. Huh?
You're right. You're right.
Sounds like, boy, you know, finishing that book would be like a real white whale, wouldn't it?
And the final review,
Go.
Costandinos says, I've always known this was a great book, but I never read it. Now that I've read it, I've come to the conclusion that it's one of the most boring books I've ever read. There's far too much detail about facts that nobody has interest in.
But what about the extended chapter on ambergris?
Page after page of boring details that just can't hold our attention. Sorry, Herman. Just tell us about the hunt, the chase, and the death of the crew, and leave the details of
You're not. That's the point of
5,000 different kinds of whales, 10,000 different kinds of water, and uncounted different kinds of everything else. Dave?
Yeah. I held off just long enough to be right. If I'd have guessed early on, I would have missed it. Mobus Dickus.
Moby Penis.
We used to call him Moby Wang in high school.
Moby Wang.
To irritate our teacher, who then, by the way, the next year, Christy was in the class the year after, and they all did the same thing because they all knew us.
Yeah. Moby Wang.
So we drove our high school English teacher fucking crazy over that.
I guess too soon. Damn it.
You would have got it.
Now, Moby Dick is a way better book, incidentally, than The Old Man and the Sea.
I did not finish it
You didn't
for the reasons that those people described.
Really?
I might have more appreciation for it now.
Yeah, I liked Moby Dick.
I've never even tried to read it, but I really liked Old Man in the Sea.
Did you? I hated Old Man and the Sea.
These are probably both on Gutenberg. You can probably get them for free right now.
I know Moby Dick is because I started reading a little at work today while I was researching this.
It's tedious. I get it. It's tedious.
I dug out my old. You guys might not remember it, but I used to have a Sony reader, like one of those like e-paper displays.
Yeah.
And I used to read on it a lot. And I dug it out recently, charged it up. It still works. Yeah. And I have like Polinick novels on there, and just a whole bunch of shit I got for free on Project Gutenberg, and probably some things I also stole from a torrent site or something like that. But lots. I kind of miss reading. But anyway, the point is that I used to read shit like that on my reader, like the classic stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have to. I mean, like, you should.
Yeah, you should read the classics.
Moby Dick is tedious. It's very, very tedious. But I liked Moby Dick. Old Man in the Sea was like one of the. I don't like him.
Yeah, Hemingway's.
I just don't like him. He's a big drunk asshole.
I don't think Hemingway's. No, I don't think he's. Any of his characters are particularly likable. I don't. He's likable.
No,
I think he appeals to a certain generation of man.
The poor shark hunter. You really feel for him by the end.
I get it. I get it. It's like everything that he wrote in that book. He's like, look at this point I'm trying to make. It's like, that's what I feel like that whole book was like. Look at this point that I'm trying to make.
Well, that's the minimalist thing too. Is like you're kind of getting hit over the head by very blunt and literal messages,
right?
And I think for a modern reader, some of that stuff can translate as like kind of try hard.
I like the books like Frankenstein, where idiots don't understand it, where you have to like think about like, oh no, this is really what it's about.
Oh well, okay. Well, if that's your point, then yes, absolutely, guys like him are not a great read for guys like you, because
pay attention to me.
It's all very plain faced, direct, and it's meant to be.
He just writes boring. I don't know.
Blunted into your head.
And Moby Dick is boring too, but I read a lot because I was stupid when I was a kid, and I read a lot of the the classics because you're supposed to. That's great
because you're stupid now,
right? So I read A Tale of Two Cities when I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Not hashtag humble brag. So like
I never read that one.
It's long and tedious.
How many cities end up actually being in it?
Really, I mean, if I remember correctly, it's really just the two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
about London and Paris specifically.
Right,
Truth in advertising.
Right.
Oh no, what is this?
Oh no.
Oh no, what fresh hell awaits?
My burr.
Oh no,
You got it to avoid the notes though, which is awesome.
Yes. So I was used to reading that kind of stuff, which is why Melville didn't bother me.
I think one of the reasons I took to Hemingway pretty early on in college is precisely because he's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum of flowery and
he is
verbose.
very direct.
And when I first started getting into like actually seriously reading, I thought at first that a lot of literature was going to be over my head because I thought it was all that, flowery prose.
Joycean, yeah.
Right. And then
They
so
kind
then
of
when
condition us to that, like in high school.
Yeah, because
right?
they make you read like the fucking Canterbury Tales.
fucking the Scarlet Letter, I hated that book.
That book sucks.
It's not good.
At least I don't know if it was the same for like not honors English, but I got to read To Kill a Mockingbird, which is actually one of the best books ever written.
I read that one in high school.
I've
too.
only ever seen the movie.
Oh, really? You never read the book?
No, I never read the book.
The book was the
It's got
first.
Gregory Peca in it.
Yes. The book was the first book that I read where I remember not wanting it to end. Like the story was so good, I didn't want it to end. It was really, really well written.
Yeah. But no, so when I got into Hemingway at a time when I figured a lot of literature was going to go right over my head. And that bluntness was really refreshing to see.
Yeah.
I had that experience, but I had it with Dostoevsky.
Russian authors are really good for that.
Yeah, right. Well, which everybody, when you take your first philosophy class, you want to,
Yeah.
The only Dostoevsky I ever read was Crime and Punishment,
Oh, really?
which I really liked, but it's the only one. And it's actually, of the great Russian shit, that's the only one I read.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot I'm missing.
So
I read a lot of his short stuff too.
Yeah.
So
'Cause I had to for class. But
So,
Go ahead.
funnily enough, the topic I chose for today was philosophy.
Are you kidding? Really? No way. Oh, what a
Let's do it.
segue.
Oh, wow.
I want to see I don't know how much we know about the general topic.
General topic. Well, you can't.
Well, you came to the
don't-
right couple of fat idiots.
You did, yeah.
Right. I don't think I ever took a philosophy course in college. I think I just
I did.
I think I just read the Cliffs Notes on my own when I was an angry atheist.
I want to say the guy's name was Bruce Waller that was in the philosophy department at YSU, and I took his class.
Dr. Waller. I do know that name.
I took a class with him, and that was the one where I met Steve Smith and had to be like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. I know your name, and I got a story for you.
Everyone thinks I'm you.
Everyone thinks I'm you, and to which he essentially said, also, people think that
I'm you.
I'm you. But yeah, I had a philosophy class, which I really appreciated, actually. Some of the best stuff that I learned in that class was like sort of the rhetorical fallacies, the stuff that you would like see
Yeah.
later in terms of people making bad arguments, which
Yeah.
turns out to be super important. You got something hanging on your chin.
Oh, that's just some semen.
Oh, good. I think it's a little streak of ash.
I fired one off before we got started on this.
Oops. Oops. Yeah, and I love philosophy.
I do too. You got to start with I think you got to start with the Greeks when it comes to classic philosophy.
Maybe it's just me, but for me,
I like to start with the
I kind of think
Greeks.
the Greeks invented philosophy.
Men from Greece
They say the Greeks were the first ones to really start thinking.
have sex with Greek men. Men from Greece.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if we're going to talk about just the stuff that we know about philosophy,
Yeah, what do we
I was
know?
always fascinated by the idea of Plato's forms,
If we know anything.
which is still a thing I don't think I fully understand. But conceptually, it kind of makes sense. Is there is a most thing of
Yes.
whatever thing you can think of.
Right.
Oh, okay. I know
There
what
is
you're
a
talking
pure there is you can't draw it or conceive of it.
There is a fartiest man in the world.
about. There is
And that man is me.
there is a
Plato's farter.
there is an essential rockness to every rock.
Yeah, right.
There is an essential
It's that shit.
personness to every person.
Yeah, there's something that you whatever the thing is, there is. You can't necessarily articulate it or draw it or conceive of it, but there is what that thing is at its most
Does
pure
exist.
definition, and so there is a most pure version of it, even if you'll never see it, draw it, think about it, conceive of it.
Sure.
It does exist.
Yeah,
Which is weird.
Kind of an interesting thought because
Yeah.
you can spend a lot of time thinking about what's the most bean.
Yeah. And that obviously Rowan Atkinson.
Sure.
But that's such a weird way to end that description too, because it brings it almost into the realm of practicality almost.
Yeah. Well, you translate from the abstract into the literal.
Yeah.
And so that's what the real value of those Platonic forms is trying to how would you even translate from that perfect thing into what the everywhere occurrences are of that thing.
Yeah, and then at what point does the thing stop being the thing if it loses its essential
Enough
qualities?
of it. Yeah, right.
Well, the thing became the thing because of exposure to gamma rays, right? So I don't know what stops the thing from being the thing, but I assume it's something Dr. Doom cooked up.
Hologram machines. I know the thing has been cured at least a few times in the comics.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a recurring plot thing. I
Beta
think.
rays.
Theta rays, beta rays.
He was cucked by Dr. Doom.
the
with
Kuiper
beta rays.
belt.
Fucked by Dr. Doom.
With beta rays.
the Thing story.
Sorry.
That big palooka's trying to cuck me again. I'm gonna go over to Latveria and give him a little shin music.
I love Latveria.
Latveria.
I love that. I don't know how they came up with that was going to be where Dr. Doom is from.
Latveria.
Latveria. It's like Latvia and Bavaria. It's like how is this where you decided to put Dr. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No,
it's
that is a tremendously interesting thing.
Yeah.
Like, there is a podcast that is more of a podcast than any other podcast imaginable.
It's pure. It's beautiful and exactly correct. And
Yeah.
it's called
the
NPR's
Joe
Fresh
Rogan
Air.
experience.
I went Terry Gross.
Yeah.
You went Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right. Both great philosophers in their own right.
Sure. You know, our nation's great philosopher,
Terry
Joe
Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
And his evil arch nemesis, Ro Jogan.
No, his name is Rogan Josh. And he's on menus
Hey,
everywhere.
that's great. Have you ever tried quitting DMT? It's Joe Rogan's kryptonite.
Hey, Joe. You ever spend like an evening outside of your weird float pod?
No, what's that like?
Wow, he's just like
Wow,
super
yeah.
high. Like, oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you said the right things to Joe Rogan, you could just keep him smoking weed and going, wow, yeah, like
right,
forever.
Yeah. The smartest dumb guy, Joe Rogan. That's the smartest
Yeah.
dumb person.
The smartest dumb guy experience with Joe Rogan.
So, if I remember right, you said Plato, right? Was the one who
Plato was the
had
one who
that.
came up with the forms, the Platonic forms.
Was it also him, or was it Aristotle who? Because it sounds like this would be a Plato thing.
I can tell you, I already don't know.
The idea of that, like, there's a smallest possible amount of like stuff that a thing can be made of, and essentially, like, without needing to devise the concept of atoms.
Yeah, right. Like,
before that was even known to be a thing.
I don't know who it was, but you're right. That was the idea, is that there is the smallest building block of things, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what it was, but they were right.
Yeah,
That sounds like Aristotle. I don't know the answer, but that sounds
I was
like
gonna say.
Aristotle.
I think that came after Plato.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Very interesting.
The very early like Greek stuff was all very like broad. You know what I mean?
It's funny because like any of us, maybe not, but like most people, I feel like left in a room with no stimulus for long enough, which is essentially ancient Greece, would be able to come up with this idea of like, God, I can rip stuff in half forever until my fingers are too fat to do anymore. And then what's smaller than that?
Yeah.
And then what's smaller than that?
Yeah.
And then what's even like how when does it stop? Like what is the unit of thingness that builds all stuff?
I think this was described in a almost a mathematical paradox in the idea of an arrow being fired straight at a target. But before it gets to the target, it has to get halfway to the target.
Yeah.
Before it gets halfway to the target, it has to get a quarter of the way to
Yeah.
the target, and so on and so forth. So how does the arrow actually, get there?
Right. I feel like that's a similar concept inherent in the idea of like mathematical limits, right? We have like trigonometric functions where things approach like the limit of something and
Yeah.
they never quite reach their ascribed value, but they keep getting
More and
they
more.
tend towards it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. The answer, of course, is don't worry about it. Practical science doesn't work that way.
Well, here's the other thing is like, yes, that's important.
Like, these guys got paid for this.
Right. The thing is, like, if you're in ancient Greece, you're like, I don't know, I gotta go bake some bread. Like only certain kind of people of a certain sort of, I don't want to say like it's necessarily a luxury, because like also I feel like a lot of these dudes were like super poor because all they cared about was thinking.
A certain kind of intellect, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, but it just seems like
A certain kind of atheism.
it seems like it's it doesn't matter to most people.
It doesn't. No.
And to this day,
It still doesn't.
philosophy doesn't matter to most people.
The philosophers of ancient Greece did make some money because what would happen was rich folks would hire them to talk at parties,
Sure, yeah.
and make them seem intellectual
Sure.
by surrounding themselves with paid intellectuals.
Here, my surrogate smart guy, listen to him while I drink wine. Which, of course, why not?
while I nod and say, "Yes, good
Yes.
point."
Right. We can't talk about the ancient Greeks without talking about the greatest philosopher.
You're gonna talk
of our
about him. I
times.
knew you were gonna say it. What's his name?
I can't remember.
Ben, you know.
Are you?
Barrel
Would
guy.
you happen to be talking about Diogenes of
Diogenes of Sinope.
Sinope?
Diogenes,
Diogenes of Sinope
a philosopher in his own right.
completely covered in centipedes.
lived in a barrel and shit in the street.
Yes.
Diogenes and Epictetus.
Well, he was the founder, by all accounts, of the school of cynicism, which advocated, basically just shedding your material possessions, getting closer to nature, living like a dog. Cynic comes from the same root as canine, which is where that comes from.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So every time I'm being a cynic, which is most of the time, I'm being like a dog.
Well, cynicism now means something different.
Yes, sure.
The end of the other end of the spectrum from idealism.
My favorite Diogenes story is the one. It was Alexander the Great, right? Or was it his father?
It was Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
He rolled into town. Right?
Alexander of Macedon.
Yeah, it's like rolled into town and sought out Diogenes, and like he basically promised him like Diogenes, how did he say it? It was like
I'm a big fan of yours.
your works are well renowned. Ask anything of me, and I, the great Alexander, will give it to you. And Diogenes said, "Could you like get out of my? You're blocking my sun. Could you like move a little to the left?"
Presented with the grandest of opportunities.
Like, could you like move over a little? Or,
See, that's the thing.
That's
is,
awesome.
I truly, really do wish to live something like that, but I like stuff. So what do I do?
Right. Well, you don't be a Buddhist.
No,
right.
You sure don't be a Buddhist.
See, Buddhism is the philosophy that makes the most sense to me in the modern world.
Yeah.
But it's
hard.
it's not something I could ever do.
No.
The idea of the Eightfold Path is that, in simple terms, all human life is suffering. Suffering is caused by desire. By eliminating desire, you eliminate suffering, and you have to start that with yourself.
Right. But to start that, you have to want to get rid of desire. So what do you do there?
Yeah.
Womp fucking womp.
Yeah.
It's it's not a philosophy I could ever follow because I like stuff too
Yeah,
much.
right, exactly.
I like being praised for doing things.
Yeah, but also like I feel like we live in a very, very different world from the world in which these ideas were conceptualized. We live in a different country now with more opportunity. Like I will say, if we were really scrapping it out in the way that almost all the world is. And this is going to sound shitty, but it might not be such a big leap from like living to have stuff versus living to not.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
It sounds shitty, but I do think it's true. Like
There's also another factor to that, which is that a lot of Eastern Asian societies conceive of their own. I'm going to use the word society twice in the same sentence.
We live
We live in a society. Conceive of themselves as much more communal. They conceive of themselves as how will this action affect your family,
The group,
your family
the
first,
herd.
or the community, or your country.
I would argue we used to do that.
We did.
We maybe used to, but
I think mass media changed a lot
Right
of
up
things.
until the end of World War II.
a lot of Western society now is very individualistic in nature,
Yeah.
not just here, but in much of Europe and.
I would point a big fat finger at marketing for that too.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Because I think the idea of what you need right now is what you should be doing is something that a marketer tells you to get you to spend money on things.
Yeah, I mean, look at
Yay, capitalism.
look at Hindu texts where one of the big things that its recurring characters are told to do is to do their duty and to do their service for their people and their country.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot easier to go into kind of an ascetic sort of lifestyle if you know that what you're doing is decreasing the net suffering in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
I think
It makes what you're doing a greater good. The sacrifice has more value.
right.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Incidentally, have either of you ever read the Bhagavad Gita?
No, but I own a copy.
should.
I do too. We
You-
own a copy from the same
You used to-
person.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
The
we
guy-
got that at YSU, didn't we?
Yeah, the Hare Krishna guy who used to
Yeah.
come down to campus and
I used to use it to hold up my fish tank because my shelves sagged. Do you remember that?
too.
my shelves sagged, so I just put a copy of the Bhagavad Gita in the middle to just keep the shelf.
perfect.
That does it. And then on the bottom, a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah, awesome.
That ought to do it.
Jesus Christ.
That'll keep my shelf from snapping
Take
in
that,
half.
Vishnu.
Hold on. That's a great place for 1,000 years of cultural wisdom. Thanks.
Yeah, we got the guy because he wasn't allowed to ask for money, so he was just like,
Right.
"Hey, I'm giving these away to people. Do you want a copy?"
And also, please help.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's like the dude was like super nice. Whenever he would show up, he'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm giving these away. Do you want it?" He would just give the book away.
Yeah.
And then I think I gave him a $5 bill.
Yeah.
When he you know what I mean?
I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he just because he wasn't allowed to ask for money, and he's
Right.
like, I'm not. I'm like, I'm just giving the book. He was giving the book away.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not asking for money.
I'm not asking for money. I would never do that. But also, there's a bucket over there, and if I look the other way, maybe sometimes a $5 bill slides into it.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, he
Whatever.
seemed fine.
He's a nice guy though.
He was all right.
Yeah, pretty good guy. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I started to read it. I never actually finished the whole goddamn thing because it's a difficult text.
What do you guys think is okay, maybe this is a shift. This is a shift in the conversation. But what do you think is something that guides you as a person? What is a core piece of your philosophy that
gosh.
that is really what is really important to you as a fundamental maxim? And I'll give you one to give you time to think. I think kindness is the most important force that we have as people to make the world better.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And to
I'm not very good at it, but I agree.
yeah, and I think
I'm not great at it either.
because I've
You're better than I am.
because I've thought that before too, but knowing that I don't have that much of an influence on the greater world, the best thing, the most ideal thing for me to do is to make the lives of people in my immediate life
better.
as good as I possibly
Yeah,
can.
I think those are related.
according to my means and according to
Right.
Yeah. Kindness has a lot of different tools available to it. There's a lot of different ways to be kind to people, and they're not all being nice either.
Right.
Kindness can not necessarily be nice.
Yeah,
Sometimes
some-
kindness can be awfully brutal, but it is in the interest of doing what you think
'cause
is right for someone.
sometimes being nice doesn't
and for
fucking
yourself.
work.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Right. Because nice isn't what people need is not always for you to be nice to them. And what you need is not always to be nice to everyone else.
Right.
Right.
Kindness is
Piece
really
of
trying
shit.
you fucking asshole. Kindness is trying to do what's right and not do harm.
Yeah, and sometimes that'll involve standing up for yourself.
Yes, and sometimes it'll mean telling people no at a time that they really don't want you to.
Right.
But
Right.
ultimately kindness is doing what's right because you're convicted that it is the right thing.
Right.
Even if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Alex Jones philosophy.
That's all the frogs got.
Why, Lord?
Why, Lord? The great philosopher of our times, Alex Jones.
The thing is, you could argue he is.
You could, yeah, I think you
He's a
could.
bad one.
Yeah, right.
But he has he has like an ethos.
Sure.
You say what you will about the national,
The tenets of National Socialism,
Socialism.
dude. At least it's an ethos.
No,
It took me way too long to get that joke. It's like, say what you want about National Social. At least it is a belief.
Yeah,
Is-
right,
Is
yeah.
basically what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's
Yeah.
talking in reference to nihilism.
nihilism. Yeah,
He's like,
at least they believe in something,
right?
Even
yeah.
something fucking evil.
Yeah, right.
But at
Yeah.
least they believe in
Something, right.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
A lot.
It took me way too long to get that joke.
A lot about what people think nihilism is fucking irritates me.
Yeah.
Especially because Nietzsche himself said, like, yeah, this may ultimately all be meaningless, but that shouldn't prevent you from trying anyway,
Right.
because that's why we're here.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yeah. I don't know if I do fully understand nihilism, but I always assumed that I did. Which is just, you
think-
can't know anything. You don't get caught up in what you think you can understand or know, because you
Sure.
can't. Our ability to perceive the world and predict the world is very limited.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't get too hung up in all of that.
And that's a pretty practical way to look at the world.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
people take it and, run it into like this fucking,
Yeah.
Joker in the Killing Joke.
yeah, then
right.
it becomes more negative.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a negative
No.
thing.
Yeah, nihilism is not assuming that the world is bad and will always be bad and get worse.
Right.
It's just not knowing, predicting, or ultimately caring because you can't affect.
Yeah. So just, do all you can and,
Right.
help people and believe in yourself.
Yeah, I feel like nihilism and fatalism are like nearly related, and that's really. I feel like the fatalistic thing is the Joker and the
Right.
world is dust and nothing matters, and
But that's not even what the Joker's about.
no.
No. Yeah, give me
I didn't really even mean to totally
give me
stray into
that.
the Joker. But
Joker
yeah.
just likes crime.
yeah.
But people turned the Joker into that.
he just
Right,
likes
'cause we're
crime
living
and
in a society.
bad jokes and,
and yeah, he just takes pride in it.
yeah, we don't I want more idealist villains,
Yes, you know what? Lex Luthor.
I can't sympathize with a villain who just thinks that,
Right.
Fuck it all, fuck everything, I'm gonna burn the world down. I don't give a shit about that guy.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Thanos. Give me more Thanos.
Thanos is pretty good.
He's an idealistic villain.
I think
he sees a perfect world and he makes it happen.
I think you had it real good with Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
because ironically enough, Lex Luthor, in a world where someone like Superman exists, is willing to say in his misguided way, humans are still special, god damn it, and we're capable of so much.
Yeah.
And we don't need Superman to prove that for us.
Right.
I
Yeah,
kind of
makes
feel like
sense.
that's one of the most interesting villain sort of recipes is I see a world that is to me perfect, even though it's like bent by any other measure,
Yeah.
but it's perfect to me. And I live and die by realizing that vision.
Yeah.
Allow me to wax poetic about Dragon Ball Z for a minute here. You brought up that point about Vegeta's character.
Vegeta.
We were talking Vegeta. Yeah. The other day we were talking about his whole character arc. When there's nothing, a character like that, when your race is gone, when you've been embarrassed in your mind, what else is there to do but focus on your own self-worth and your own self-power, right?
Right.
And that was always his whole character art, the art of the anti-hero.
Nice.
So, yeah, waxing poetic about DBZ,
Waxing poetic.
about
Allow me
Vegeta.
to wax poetic over here.
of all Saiyans.
Well, on the greater scale of that too, when Goku beats Vegeta for the very first time, he lets him go.
Lets him go, yeah.
Which is like one of the hardest decisions that anyone could probably possibly make in a situation like that.
Yeah.
But it ends up working.
Yes, he was right.
He was absolutely right about Vegeta.
Yes,
And
despite his gruff exterior, he was correct about him. He's not a bad person at heart.
So between Pickle Man and Vegetable, who does win ultimately for the most Super Saiyan?
The Pickle Man was not a Saiyan.
He's not a Saiyan. He's a
Namekian.
Namekian.
Right, Pickle Man
Idiot.
loses, but Vegetable is top
Vegetable
dog.
Man.
Vegetable.
Okay.
He is no Super Saiyan lesbian.
You have no real Super Sand.
I'm sorry, I can't contribute to the shit.
It's okay.
I have no knowledge at all. It's fucking dumb. Anyway.
So let's take this a
let's.
hard left turn to Rene Descartes.
Oh shit. Okay.
The philosophy that made a lot of sense until he gave up because of God.
Ooh.
I
Okay.
think therefore I am, right? Everybody knows that phrase.
Right.
That's a Rene Descartes phrase.
Yeah.
It's basically analyzing because I can think, because I
have consciousness.
I have
and
consciousness, I am aware.
Yeah.
Then I must by definition exist and have some meaning in the universe.
Correct.
I've never felt that particularly compelling.
Well, the thing is, everybody knows I think, therefore I am, but the question that he's actually raising in that argument is, am I just a brain? Am I just
Right.
a clump of cells?
Am I just meat?
Yeah, right, exactly. He's basically saying, like, where is myself? Is it this body? Is it this mind? Where in this mind is me? Is there a soul? Is it this?
I don't know what the current thought is on that argument.
Yeah.
But
Is this real? Is this, you know what I mean?
Is it solipsistic in here, or is it just me?
I believe, I don't know what people think about this as a actual philosophical argument, but I do think that there will come a time, maybe before we die, where that will be regarded with as much sort of oh, didn't they think they knew something? As the fact that meat spawned maggots.
Yeah. Well, it already has, I think, is the thing.
Yeah.
From Dene,
Or,
from Dene Raycard. His arch nemesis.
His negative version.
And his sidekick, Ro Jogan.
And when they meet in battle, they collapse into a neutron star.
Right.
So
Descartes ultimately concedes that, yes, he is a real person. This is what it is because God exists. That's the end of that argument.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And that is every intro to philosophy class's introduction to philosophy.
yeah, ontology pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's such a lazy out.
It's very, 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 very
But
lazy.
even if you set that aside, I feel like lots of machines or self-contained systems that we have designed as human beings, if they were to be able to fully appreciate and articulate themselves, would see themselves as thinking and therefore being,
Conscious.
well, I mean, of course, they exist. I would assume they exist because I assume I exist.
He's
But it's not
talking
a
in
good
the-
enough argument.
He's talking in the larger scale of consciousness. Like,
Sure. Okay. So, am I something more than just a machine? Am I
Yes.
actually something uniquely conscious?
I want to say no.
What is conscious even? What does conscious mean? Is the
Thinking.
real-
I think the ability to think and have desire.
I would like to redirect you once again to the Star Trek Next Generation episode, "The Measure of a Man,"
Yeah. Right.
in which Picard lays down the best possible argument for Data being sentient.
But all of these things are self-defined by us from our perspective as things
Correct.
that think we are things that think.
Right. But you use the word think to start that. So,
Right. Things that think we are things that think.
Yeah, right.
But that's, again, from the inside of the meat box here, it all feels real.
Let me give you a question. Let me posit this.
Yeah.
What if this is all a programmed simulation?
Yeah. This is always a fun one.
What
This
does,
is always a fun one.
I'll answer with a nihilistic thing of my own. What does that matter practically for me?
Nothing at all. Because
I
if
still get hungry. I still get thirsty.
I'm Cypher eating my steak. I don't care.
if that's the case, it's one of two outcomes. It's either one, we're programmed with a set of values, like Sims, but we choose what we do with our given, matrixness.
And that we just have too many variables to really understand
Right.
how our own minds work.
It's the Matrix versus the fucking video games, right?
Yeah.
So video games, old school video games, you're on a pre-programmed path.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Matrix, you have your own free will. You can do
At least as far as you could perceive. See, here's the other thing: is we assume ourselves to be beings with complete and full autonomy.
Yes.
Because we assume, based on all the decisions we think are available to us, that we can choose any of them at any time.
Right.
Right? Because
Serendipity be damned.
the illusion is that we can do anything immediately available to us.
Right.
That might not really be true.
That's
and that might
right.
be part of the conditionals of the thing that we're running in that makes it feel as if we're totally we're part of the build
Yeah.
is you can do whatever you want, even if you can't.
Remember that part in Westworld where Maeve is looking at the tablet and she's seeing her words and responses get picked in real
Yes.
time?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's okay. Okay, this is really interesting stuff to me. So that's how our brains actually work.
Right.
I mean, we perceive our decision to do something as happening in the moment. If I decide to grab this thing or move this thing around, I feel like I'm doing them right now.
Yeah.
In reality, the decision
happening
has
here.
happened
Yeah.
way before I actually do it.
Right.
You move the things around physically because that's the easiest way to demonstrate what you're talking about, and you know that from prior experience.
Right, but more importantly, I'm not doing it now. I already decided to do it way before I did it.
Right.
And it only feels like now in this moment I'm making this decision.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
realistically, that I've already everything I do is immediately cascaded
for you.
it's immediately preceded by a cascade of other decisions and variables that lead me
know.
to do things.
Yeah.
Have you seen the experiment where people like oh God, what is it? They put like a one of those caps on them that measures all the centers of their brain and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they have basically the idea is they have a button to push, right? And the goal is to push the button before your brain, registers that you're going to push the button.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And no one can do it.
They can't do it because once they pick up the signal in your brain, once they they watch you a bit and they have you push the button, they see what it looks like, what your brain waves look like, so they match that signal, right? They know what it looks like when your brain has decided to do that thing. You are slower than your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't take your brain by surprise. in
No,
that
you
way.
can't. Even if you think you can, you're just whistling and then
Yeah.
nope, you can't do it.
do
You
it.
can't beat the brain.
Yeah.
So there's a school of thought around whether we are actually able to decide to do anything, or whether we are deterministic machines completely built on all of the variables fed into our cortex,
Right.
and we just do what the machine wants us to do, and then we rationalize it later.
Wow.
Which is really fucked up, because if you believe that, then
Which I almost do.
all
yeah.
this stuff about I choose to do things
Means
is
nothing.
is a context we build onto what we're doing afterward.
Right.
Yeah.
Choosing who you marry, what you want to eat, whether to get in a fight with this person, whether to send an entire country to war, all could be just primal knee-jerk instincts that we just justify after the fact.
If you believe in a totally deterministic model, then you believe that free will is not only not a thing, it's
Impossible.
yeah, exactly. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Everything we do is completely built on the information fed into us, what happened when we received it, how that got stored and processed, what we decided
But on the other,
what we think we want versus what we
Right.
actually need.
But what feeds that instinct?
The whole thing is just this hot soup of what we call
Let's go back.
personality.
Let's go back to Plato, right?
Yeah.
What feeds that? What is the most? That's not really what he was saying. What's the thing that feeds that? There's got to
Yeah.
be something that feeds that. Yeah.
Well, sure. That's really the thing.
the
is
question.
We have this idea that we choose to do the things we do.
Is it God? Is it a simulation? Is it?
Yeah, where does the
Or is it not true?
where does the imagined self come from?
Right. Weird. It's kind of blowing my mind right now.
I mean, it's it might just be a natural consequence of existing, because many animals have a conception of the self. They'll be able to recognize themselves in a mirror.
Dolphins, elephants.
Not many, but quite a few.
Yeah. Cats have that ability to distinguish themselves from, the cat in the mirror, the cat, this other cat. And there's also the fact that Sid, the African gray parrot, who I think this parrot might have passed away in the past year or two. But
there was a really famous African gray.
But it at one point asked, "What color am I?" Which is remarkable.
creeps me out.
Because it demonstrates that he could conceive of the idea that another entity knows something he doesn't.
Yeah. Right.
Gorillas can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's a very special and limited skill set to know that. The idea of they have a name for that.
Yeah, I
Not dumb things.
yeah, I can't remember. There was
That's really wild.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. The idea that there's the conception of the other and the what do they call it? Not other consciousness.
What
other
color
consciousness,
am
but remote consciousnesses exist. There's
Yeah.
other systems like yours out there,
yeah.
which is itself kind of like a higher level thought.
Yeah.
That there are other beings out there that have what you have and are what you are, but you don't have all the information available to you that they have.
Right. There was a it was that gorilla that can sign, Coco, I think her name is.
Coco.
Who she asked her researcher one day why she was crying.
Yeah.
And she had to I forget how she did it, but it basically came across as like someone with me, like a friend,
love, yeah, right.
died, and she mimicked the sign for cry.
Yeah. Which is like empathy is its own interesting kind of thing.
Right, and to have empathy, you need to be able to understand that other people know and experience things
There's all these
different from your
prerequisites.
own.
Yeah.
Which is such a mind-blowing thing,
Yeah, there's like a whole lot of prerequisites to that. So the idea of like other consciousnesses is one thing in and of itself, but then also
Yeah.
like being able to like feel for them is like a social construct because it's like it matters what other people feel because other people matter to me because we help each other. This whole societal hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you can't have empathy unless you have societal need.
Sure. Well, unless you, I don't even say societal need. I would even say like,
I would say most animals that experience that kind of thing probably are, they have their own societies, I would guess.
well,
It seems
society
like an evolutionary prerequisite to me.
not necessarily a hierarchy though.
No.
like-
But collective.
Like a group.
Yeah, like a group of crows can empathize with one another.
That's a better way to put it. Yeah.
Crows are known to hold grudges as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of consciousness is pretty fucking insane.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention before we moved off of Descartes, which I guess it's a little late for that, but I learned very recently. I'm trying to teach myself. I had to take remedial math when I went to college. The highest I ever learned is Algebra 1.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to relearn algebra, and then I want to try and learn calculus and trig.
Good luck. I fucking sucked at those in college.
I'm going to try. It's just, it feels weird just never having learned those things.
Yeah.
But I learned recently that René Descartes is responsible for linear algebra,
Yes.
where, if you have a relationship like x equals 2y, you plug the values into each column and then you plot it on a coordinate plane. René
really?
Descartes came up with the idea of mapping those out on a coordinate plane.
So essentially he invented the line in terms of...
Yeah. And then of course, as that math, gets more complicated, you end up with like parabolas and,
Right.
circles potentially.
Wow.
But yeah, he was the one who came up with the coordinate plane to plot linear algebra in a visual thing.
God, that's so weird to think someone
René
had to create
Descartes
that.
wrote the first Tool album.
René Descartes created and then removed from the menu Denny's Uberito.
Don't fucking depress me like that.
know,
I
sorry.
miss the Uberito.
René Descartes beat Ferruccio Lamborghini in a race out of spite.
René Descartes had hands for feet and feet for hands.
Rene Descartes invented the necktie.
Rene Descartes was the Hamburglar.
Rene Descartes was the fifth Beatle.
All right, whatever.
That's silly.
Yeah. Gosh, it occurs to me that we've been talking a lot about philosophy, and I feel like the way we do that, the way we've been discussing it, is inherently like atheistic in nature.
Sure.
Which,
Yeah.
you know, like
It's almost as if no one at this table believes in God.
Right.
I know. I don't know. I just feel like we should like touch on it, I guess, because like that's like, you know,
Sure. I mean, we did
like
we
a
did
lot
touch
of like
on
a lot of the philosophy of what, you know, what it means to be a person and where we come from and where we're going and all of that does
Where do
have
we
like
come
a
from?
theistic
Where do we
origin.
go?
Where do we come from? Cotton-eyed God.
God.
No, so what? Here's an interesting question: what separates a religion from a philosophy? Is it the belief in a higher power, the belief in a being, like a being being a higher power?
I would say reverence, just not even in a higher power, but in anything.
That's a really interesting question,
Because you've got animistic religions too, like the religions of the American Indians. Shintoism is a largely animistic religion. So I'd even say just reverence to anything. You can have a religious experience without believing in a concrete religion.
Sure.
But I feel like I feel like philosophies you know, or non-theistic, you know, belief systems do have reverence for things.
Sure, Buddhism is a good example because there's no
But not deities.
right.
Not deities necessarily.
Well,
But you can
there
have-
are deities,
you-
but
there-
they're
you
not
can-
worshipped.
Sure, and you can even have religions without deities at all. Again, animistic religions, shamanistic religions.
Sure. Yeah, the
Buddhism itself, like the Buddha, isn't a god.
No, Siddhartha's just a guy who achieved nirvana.
Yeah.
He was the bass player of Nirvana.
Siddhartha Gautama, you know, the bassist
More
for
like
Nirvana.
Siddhartha Gautama.
Could the answer be dogma?
Maybe.
I was gonna say that, but then I thought, well, where does dogma come from? Dogma comes from reverence.
Right.
Where, well, it might also come from
It comes from an idea of what is right and
what-
the fact that you have to do what's right.
Sure, but who decides what's right? The thing that you
Sure.
worship, pay reverence to.
Sure, but the dogmatic aspect of it is not just that things are right. There are right things and wrong things, but that you have like an obligation
By this power.
to certain courses of action and to avoid other courses of action. Something dogma seems to be like central to religious belief in a way where like there's all kinds of thoughts about what life is like, or, you know, what the truth is,
Yeah.
or, you know, all that. But when you start to stray into this is the right way to be and not to be, then I feel like you start to move into religion.
The difference between religion and philosophy is that I've never sacrificed a goat to Rene Descartes.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's obligation. There's like
Sure.
there's tribute, and there's people that are above other people, and
I think it's a combination of both. Maybe it's a combination of tribute and reverence.
yeah.
Reverence.
Reverence.
Trevor.
Praise be to Trevor.
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of wanted to touch on it because it's like it seems
No,
like
it's like a tremendous oversight that we wouldn't otherwise
you-
get to.
it's
it.
you can't talk about philosophy without talking about religion because so much of philosophical thought has arisen out of religious.
It's almost
tradition.
like an elevated philosophy. Is, you know what I mean?
You're right,
Philosophy
there is
plus. Yeah, you're
there's an
taking-
extra layer.
Right.
It's not just about thinking about how to be or what to think or what things come from or, you know, where we're going or all that. It's also a prescriptive angle that, and then also that it's not just, well, I don't think this applies to everybody, but there is also sometimes a secondary angle of, well, then also it's not just enough for me to think it. You have to too.
Yeah, right.
You know, there's like
It depends. I mean,
an
and like
impetus to like share that.
Yeah, but
belief.
how much of that comes from just your run-of-the-mill political and
Sure.
Yeah.
power struggles?
Well, like proselytization is like, you know, historically a part of a lot of, you know, faiths. You know, there's a need to share
Sure. Well, there's a need to
and
share, but
shun
then
the
also,
unbeliever.
yeah, like, and usually the unbeliever is someone who happens to be your political enemy right now, or
Right.
someone who
Yeah,
you want to
something-
unite,
you know,
rally
like,
people against.
It's like really
Savages.
expedient.
The Crusades were a big thing for that. That was all, just to try and consolidate power within the Vatican.
Yeah, it's like sometimes just convenient that, it just so happens your political rivals are also really wrong about this God thing.
These filthy Saracens. If you all put your power into the Vatican, we can go to Jerusalem and kick their asses.
I think of the Malachites. I feel like the Israelites destroying the Malachites on God's specific command just feels kind of like, well, also it was convenient to wipe out a neighboring tribe.
Sure.
Yep. Another instance of retroactively justifying your decisions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's also some very, very interesting and enduring, philosophical ideas that come out of religious thought. I don't know exactly what I've been told that the core of this golden rule thing, which actually seems like a really good idea, is not inherently religious. That it actually goes back.
No, it shows up in a bunch of shit.
Yeah, right. But I feel like in our today, the idea of don't do things to people that they wouldn't want to, you wouldn't want to be done to you, is deeply associated with Christianity to me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, they say something similar in the Bible, but it's a pure, think
eye
of
for an eye, right?
Yeah, Hammurabi's code of laws. Yeah. Any injury which you inflict upon a person, that same injury will be returned to you. It's a bit of a darker.
I think it's a flip though. Hammurabi's code of laws is different. It's like don't do things to people that you wouldn't want done to you, or do stuff to people that they did to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Those are not the same thing.
I think that's the bastardized version, but I think originally it was do unto others.
Maybe it is.
But I think over time, just like a lot of things that wisdom got bastardized, like blood is thicker than water.
Right.
It's a good example, right? Like,
explain that one for the people that don't know.
I think we've talked about it before. The original saying is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which means that the bonds that you form in your life as a person, like your friends, you know what I mean, the people you choose for your life,
are more important
than your
just family.
Family.
You're not obligated to love your family just because they're your family. They gotta be a good family.
Meaning that phrase as we know it is exactly the opposite as it was initially intended.
Yeah. And lo did the prophet Elijah say, "Fuck you, Dad."
Yeah, right. But I think it's the same thing. I think over time that probably got bastardized.
Yeah.
It probably went from do unto others to eye for an eye. You fuck my sister, I'm going to fuck both of your sisters.
Or perhaps,
I'm going to fuck everyone's sister.
Maybe the opposite. Maybe it went from eye for an eye to, well, we need this to sound good so that our religion can spread a little better.
Right.
Well, I just feel like it's interesting because I was just talking to Dan very recently. I know we're kind of running towards the end of the episode here, but I was talking with Dan really recently about the idea of what exactly is Jesus Christ, and is he way better than the reputation that Christianity gets these days?
Yeah.
We were talking about I guess essentially about the biblical Christ and how he's in a lot of ways I kind of think the biblical Christ is kind of a badass. I like the biblical Jesus.
He didn't take a lot of shit.
No.
He took a lot of controversial stances in his time. Assuming he really existed.
Sure. Right. I think
there were probably a few dozen guys like him during that time.
I was going to say, I think it's safe to assume
there were a lot of dudes doing that.
Right. I think it's safe to assume that he probably did exist.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in divinity or not, I think the literal Jesus probably did exist. You know what I mean? It was a real person.
Sure.
Which, maybe not, but I think so.
It seems feasible.
Definitely seems feasible.
But I don't think it's particularly important whether he did or didn't.
Yeah, I don't either.
To me, that's coming from a perspective of it doesn't matter if the Son of God was actually here or not, which is a very silly thing to say. If you're,
but it's really. It really touches on what I think is the difference between, the kind of follower I like and the kind of follower I don't.
Yeah.
If you're more concerned with proving atheists wrong, then you're missing the point.
Right, exactly.
You're missing Jesus was the Son of God, and that's really cool, but he said a lot of stuff that people need to pay attention to.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. I'm very deeply interested in like the real message of Christ, which more than anything else is just like be. What did I say when we started this thing? Like be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind, and that also doesn't necessarily mean be nice.
One thing
I
that
kind of think that's the Jesus philosophy.
It also means forgive too.
sure,
which is tough to do.
Very, very tough to do.
yeah,
very tough to do.
not live with malice in you.
Sure, and if you prescribe, I mean, like, okay, Jesus fucking suffered, right? Like, it's more than it's more than suffered, died,
Yeah.
was buried. Like, if you like, I mean, they beat the shit out of him. It's not a. It's not
fucking gnarly.
Like we're talking like like they fucking beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? So and like if you prescribe to that, he forgave.
Yeah, like imagine that
Yeah.
shit.
And then went a step further and asked his dad to forgive him too.
Father, forgive them. They
Yeah.
know not what they do.
I kind of want to be clear that like this is not necessarily being like very like apologist for Christianity in general, but just like if Jesus Christ as a literary figure means anything,
I don't think
this is where I'm coming from.
I don't think you have to be apologetic for a religion. Religion's like any other philosophy. It depends what you do with it.
Sure.
Sure.
It's it's a question of, are you going to be the kind of person who pays attention to the fact that, Christianity preaches forgiveness and almsgiving, or are you going to use it to act like you're better than
Or
everyone
you can
else?
weaponize it. Yeah, right.
It's not like that message is super timely, and it will never not be.
Yeah, it's not the religion; it's the person that uses it.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning too. All three Abrahamic religions involve almsgiving to some degree
Yes,
or another.
yeah.
Right.
And it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. In fact,
I wish I was
almsgiving.
smarter about this in particular when it comes to like the Judaism side of all this. Because like my dad, you guys know this. My dad's
like-
really deep in like the old school like Abrahamic
Right,
yeah.
well Abrahamic what's the mystical Judaism
Kabbalah,
right?
Yeah.
Like the really fucking super deep, probably on a lot of drugs, ancient.
Have him watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. He'd get a kick out of it. No,
Well, the
but
thing is, my dad gets a kick out of everything for that reason. I think.
I think at its core, those three religions are different ways to become closer to God.
Yeah.
In Judaism, you become closer to God by doing good works. In Christianity, you become closer to God by forgiveness. And in Islam, you become closer to God by obedience and respect.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there's some overlap there. Like those are
Sure.
kind of the main categories.
But they all certainly place one over the other.
You're right.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of, if you were to weight them, those are the most important
Yeah,
things
Right.
to
I guess
each.
obedience is the right reverence and respect.
Reverence. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I think that they're closely related.
Yeah.
I think the radical Islam is obedience.
Forgiveness
I think,
and asking for forgiveness is a
yeah.
big thing in Christianity.
Well, the radical Islam was also like being so selfless as to minimize yourself in the goal of in the overall goal of whatever the whatever your what's the word I'm looking for, whatever your imam thinks is important or whatever.
Right,
Like
right.
it's really minimalizing the self.
Which again comes down to how people are taught these religions and what other people want to use those teachings for.
Correct. Yeah.
It's funny too because a lot of those things are not all bad traits, but
Right.
they can be exploited by people.
Absolutely.
They can definitely
any belief can be exploited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be religion.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be philosophical.
Like when
you know.
people twist it to say, Jesus forgives you, which, is meant to imply, but I don't.
But I don't, right. Well, Jesus forgives you.
Yeah, right.
Good, I didn't ask him to.
I don't know. I don't really like. I don't want to lean too hard into religion, but it's interesting.
That's
to me.
important to bring
It's
up.
important.
Yeah.
It's you can't talk about philosophy without talking about religion.
Yeah, it's
know?
it's a flavor of philosophy with maybe even extra steps.
Why
But,
that just sounds like philosophy with extra
It's
steps.
it's extra stuff extra stuff philosophy.
quadruple stuff. It's the Oreo
most
cookie.
stuff philosophy.
The most
The
stuff.
most stuff. And I was there.
I was at the Golden Food Mart and I saw quadruple stuffed
I
Oreos.
was sitting outside and I was reading the Code of Hammurabi. And I saw this guy stuff 4 Oreos in his fat mouth, and I thought that's so gross.
I was at my Temple of Santeria and I saw this guy and he cut the head off of a chicken and I thought, I hope they're not going to waste that chicken. and it was so bad it made me want to puke.
I was rolling down Mahoning Avenue, and I was deep in the. Shit, I can't even think of it. Fuck.
I was smoking and sipping juicy juice.
And I was making burnt offerings to our Lord, and I was sitting there in my car. And I saw across the street this guy, and he was reading the Vedas, and he threw them in the trash, and I thought, what a piece of shit.
So anyway,
Yeah, whatever.
now would probably be a good time to
It sure would.
advance, and
Did
we will.
Do we even barely touch this topic?
Oh, of course, it's way too big. I wanted it to go
Wherever it went.
where
Yeah,
the
right.
hell ever.
That's a
That's
good
what
one.
she said.
And it's something we haven't done before, so yeah.
Well, I enjoyed that. I'd love to talk philosophy again sometime.
Awesome.
There's God, we just kind of barely skirted into a whole lot of topics and then ditched out of them. So
we only just got into like Enlightenment philosophers, and we haven't even touched on Voltaire or Sartre or anyone.
No, we're gonna have to.
I wanted to talk about Pascal's wager and didn't get a chance to
Yes.
do that. We'll have to talk about that sometime.
We're gonna have to part. We're gonna have to part 2 this.
Yeah.
For a later date.
Anyway, let's take a break. We will be back with our recommendations and what we learned.
Oh.
I was just busy checking the news.
Don't check the news.
Everything is in the news today.
Everything is in the news. Don't look at it. The episode isn't over yet. When we're done, when this episode is wrapped at like 10:20 and it's all over, then we can look at the news and be completely disappointed by what we see. But for this Super Dude's Day, it's all about beers and meats.
Because I'm all about that beer and that meat.
So,
Yeah.
recommendations.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Have we?
Chris, do we have a recommendation, Chris?
Yes, I have 2. The first one I'm going to keep brief. I'm going to touch my brief.
How many years
Have I made that joke?
have you been copying Mike Stoklas's joke to say, let me touch my boobs?
Dude, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Everything I do that you think is funny is copied from somebody funnier.
Same.
I'm not funny.
Boy, I can't wait till you figure out where they're all from.
I'm not funny at all.
No.
No, everybody thinks I'm funny. I'm not funny.
No.
I'm just
pretty,
a, I'm a sad,
it's okay. I don't think you're
miserable, depressed little fat man who keeps breaking furniture. That's my. You asked what my core drive was, like what I think. That's what it is. I don't have one. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
funny. Wow. This is
And if I wasn't a coward, I would hang myself. No.
I'm gonna just put a little.
No.
I'm gonna put a little check mark next to great content.
I have 2 recommendations this week. The first one.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yes, I
All right,
can.
fine. Just whatever.
just
do what you're gonna do it and then just end it.
Oh, he's telling me to hang myself. Oh my God.
I mean,
Dave,
say what you're gonna say.
Dave really wants
also-
me to kill myself.
That is not what I meant, and I'd like to go back 2 minutes into the past, please.
Hold on, let me write that down for posterity.
Heavens.
So I have 2 this week.
I don't like how that
2.
feels.
2 of them.
Yeah, the 2 of them. Funny thing about my. The first one is, as I've told you guys before, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z because
Yeah.
I'm still a 5-year-old. I am not going to recommend Dragon Ball Z because I understand that not everybody likes Dragon Ball Z. But what I would like to recommend firstly is that you, is that you do something from your childhood that is nostalgic and check and see if you're still looking at it with rose-colored glasses.
Oh, explore your nostalgia.
I was pleasantly surprised that, and there's some silly stuff in Dragon Ball Z that makes you giggle as an adult, like that's right, boys, Mondo cool,
Mondo cool.
like just dumb little dialogue things that don't play as well when you're an adult, but it's still fucking, dude, it's kung fu guys who can blow up planets with their hands. It's cool.
I'm really glad that it's as good as you remember.
It is as good. It's just
Most things are not like that.
Most things are not like that, and I'm still having fun watching it. It's still a good watch. I like it. Maybe I'm a fucking child, but I don't care. Find something from your childhood, and I'm talking like childhood.
Yeah. Like go back to like before you were 12.
Pre-teen years. Find something that you liked back then and see if you still like it. And you might be pleasantly surprised like I was. So check that.
Different.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Dave.
I say, boy, I'm going to try rubbing my dick on my parents' couch again. See how that works out. You know what? It's still good. Different couch, same joy. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Why did I say that?
Dan sent me a picture the other day that was like, it was like different fleshlights. One of them was a mouth, one of them was a vagina, and another one was an ass. And then the fourth one was just a fleshlight, and it said your couch, and it was two couch cushions smushed together in a little circle. It's really funny. Fucking cracked me up.
Oh, God. God. Boys around that age are the absolute fucking
just
worst.
Literally the fucking worst.
Oh,
The second recommendation that I have for you this week is an album by rapper Common. The album is called B, and it took me.
You recommended this last week. The album is called Go.
Oh, did I? Did I really? I did recommend this. Well, then I got to think of a new fucking record to recommend.
Wait a
to
minute. You said B.
No, the album is called Go.
Go.
I know because I have it on my Spotify.
He's right. He's right. I did recommend this. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I did. I did recommend this. Shit in my boots. So what can I recommend?
Still got
He's
my
right.
Spotify.
Yeah, he's right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Oh, no.
And I didn't realize.
It is called B. I'm sorry.
I called it Go last. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no. You did recommend
I don't
this,
think
though.
you did this last week.
Okay, so I know he's.
He did because I wouldn't have it on my Spotify.
I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week before.
Okay.
I think it was this season though. So I just re-listened to that record.
That was episode 3.
So let me recommend a dish to you then.
Okay.
Last night I made beef bourguignon.
Bourguignon?
I took my base from Julia Child's recipe, and then I did my own little thing to it, which you should always do with any recipe, I think. Beef bourguignon is beef burgundy, basically. So you take burgundy wine, which is just basically Pinot Noir. Anything made with red wine made with Pinot grapes.
Okay.
And you basically make beef stew out of it. You brown your beef and then you braise it for like 3 hours.
At 420.
420, braise it! Okay, Julia's recipe called for chuck roast. I used short rib because it's a little fattier. It makes a fattier stew, but it also makes a more decadent stew.
It's so funny. The chili recipe I used from Jake Ng Lopez Alt is also one that called for chuck roast.
But you put...
And I put fucking short rib
because it's
in.
fattier. The fat's where all
Yes.
the flavor is, bro.
Give me that.
I made beef bourguignon, and then like I said, I changed a couple things. I made the little onions and the sautéed mushrooms on the side. I put a little Worcestershire sauce in it, and I put a tablespoon and a half of fish sauce, which is just like an umami bomb for your whatever stew you're making.
Sure.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, it's really fucking good.
You know what? I completely believe it.
So on the larger scale, I would say everybody should own a copy of Mastering the Art of French Cooking. It's worth having on your bookshelf because it is a wealth of knowledge. But if you're gonna try a recipe, you could do a lot worse than Julia's beef bourguignon. It is really good.
So you said you started with her base.
Yeah,
From the Joy of Cooking.
right.
And it's thanks to the Joy of Cooking that all her base
Hers is not the joy of
belong
cooking
to us.
Hers is
I was almost there.
It's Mastering the Art of French Cooking.
Okay, gotcha.
Close though. I get what you're going for. Yeah, it's really it's not a fussy recipe at all. It's really easy. It just takes time because braising takes time. You know what I mean?
Which is the beauty of it.
Yeah, like it breaks everything down.
Yeah.
And like I said, I ended up with a really fatty stew because short rib is really fatty.
Yeah.
But I also ended up with like a super decadent melt in your mouth stew.
Luxurious.
Very luxurious, very filling, very rich.
Velvety.
Buttery. Yeah, it's really good. You could do worse than that. The other thing is, Alvin and I were talking about French onion soup, and Julia's French onion soup recipe is really good.
I want to make some fucking French onion
soup. The best advice I can give you for French onion soup: don't just use one kind of onion. Get like red onions, sweet onions, white onions, shallots. You want a large diversity of onion.
You want a broad onion gamut.
You want a fuckload of onions.
Nice.
Yeah, and you want to get them nice and like not quite jammy, but you want them pretty caramely. Mm-hmm. It's fucking great. Caramelizing onions is a religious experience if you've never done it. Just take
one of my favorite things.
Take a fuckload of onions and just
take like 4 or 5 onions and put them in a pot and just
turn them into
patient.
a tiny pile of nothing. They're just sugary and they're delicious. So I would recommend if you're gonna cook something luxurious that you have some time to do it, but you don't want something that's too fussy and takes too long. Go make yourself a good beef bourguignon. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So we had beef bourguignon on Sunday because Drew made it. And it was super fucking tasty.
It was super tasty.
And it's funny because she even said when
she's like, mine's better than Chris Brady's. Drew, you're wrong, by the way. Yours is really good. Mine was.
She even said you guys had to have a bourguignon off.
A bourguignon. I will 100% bourguignon off.
I will be.
That's what mine looked like.
I remember.
Can I see it again?
It is delicious and decadent.
Incredible.
And very good.
Do I spot some carrots in there serving up?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some big old halves of onion and.
Yeah. There's the little pearl onions.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. I sauteed them and then I cooked them in, again, this is Julia thing. You braise them in some beef stock for like an hour.
Yeah.
You fry them to get some color on them and keep their shape. And
oh my God.
Oh, dude, so good. It was really good. I'm going to go eat a fuckload of it when I get home because it's delicious.
I learned recently the difference between stock and broth, and I didn't know that there was one.
Stock is the bones and the cartilage, and broth is more like the white meat and the actual
meat.
Yeah, right.
So the thing is, if you got a stock, you get a more flavorful base than if you had a broth.
And the gelatin.
They don't teach you that shit in home ec.
No, they do not.
No, that's super important.
Yeah, stock
home ec's just concerned with making sure you don't die.
Yeah, right.
You can fry an egg fine.
Right.
I mean, if I remember correctly, home ec taught me to like sew a thing and
I made boxer shorts in home ec.
Did you?
I made a fuzzy die set, fuzzy dice, I guess, to hang in like on your car's rear view.
Funny story. I flunked the shit out of the cooking part of home ec. I was not good at it. But I passed it really well, the sewing part of home ec, because my grandma taught me to sew when I was like 4 on a sewing machine.
Super important.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah. If you don't want to have to throw away everything just because it got a rip in it, and I'm fat, so I can't.
Right. Dad taught me how to hand sew, and Grandma taught me how to use a machine. So I was really good at home ec.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Nostalgic stuff. Go make beef bourguignon. Find Julia Child's recipe. It's worth it. It's really delicious.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Dave?
Yeah. So I'll keep mine quick. I have been watching junk food TV again, and boy, do I love it. So I don't watch a lot of reality TV. I don't really tend to care for it. But oh my God, I cannot get enough of 90 Day Fiancé.
It's the Dave Dragowski story.
It's just so beautifully, deliciously bad. And if you watch even enough, even a little reality TV, you start to follow all the beats. You know, like you can see where, okay, this thing probably didn't happen, but they kind of drum up some artificial controversy here. This thing, they recontextualize this thing to look like, there might have been a question about what someone was going to say, but like they just cut in them not talking for a long time.
Right.
You kind of like see the beats. And this is not, it doesn't dodge that. It's not a different kind of show. It's the same kind of garbage reality TV. But what I love about it is how much I hate the Americans every time, and how, with a few exceptions, I kind of typically like the foreigners, the people outside the U.S.
Yeah.
I tend to like them.
Foreigners.
Foreigner.
Kind of prefer sticks myself.
I was inside looking outside.
Yeah, so this show is bad. I'm not going to say it's good, but in some ways watching it is great. There's a secondary like spin-off show called Before the 90 Days that's around before people actually like get their visas and like do the thing to like get married. And that's almost even better because it's like there's the stakes in this are they have to decide if they want to get married. So like they're not locked in such a way where they're like have to be extra nice to each other because they've already kind of committed to this shit.
Right.
They tend to be like still kind of feeling each other out and being huge tools about it. But the best joy of the whole thing is watching the Americans who are just like such pieces of shit, so fucking stupid. And they all like most of the time they show up somewhere and they like don't somehow know what it means to be an American in like the fucking Philippines where like they show up with like a fucking money bag of money they don't even know they have, And then like act really, really entitled about it. Where we're like, like why don't you want to come back to the United States with me? Haven't I done enough by just simply being here? There was a dude who like ruined his whole homecoming party or whatever welcome party because he shows up in the Philippines. They roast a pork. They roast a whole pig.
Yeah,
they do an entire pig roast.
Oh, have you ever been to one of those? Incidentally,
I have not.
Super fun.
I would love to be at one.
We should do that sometime.
My neighbor over here, Jeff, the dude that makes wine, he's gonna be having a fucking like pig
Like
roast
a hog
this
roast
summer.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Dude, you want to go? It's really good.
I do.
Yeah.
So the thing is, they roast a whole fucking pig for him, and they have like 20 people from the family show up, and the dude won't eat it. He's like creeped out by it. They hack the pig apart with a machete,
but that's something we do here. That's not weird.
It's not weird. I kept looking at it being like,
dude,
it just looks like
pork.
It's pork. Like, do you not know what pork is? He wouldn't he took like a little teeny bite and then like was like looking around and like literally said to everyone else like tell them everyone to eat. Don't look at me. Everyone eat, because he didn't want them to see him not eating.
Oh my god, what a fucking loser.
And the thing is, can you imagine doing a whole roast pig in that country?
Yeah.
Like it's expensive here where everything is, expensive, I guess, but like can you imagine they do a whole roast pig for him,
rude,
and he won't fucking eat it. And that's just a taste of
I
how
hate
bad
him.
these guys are. I hate him too. Oh god, there's so many dopey, stupid like.
Look, I would do that tomorrow if I could.
Like so many fucking like googly-eyed, mealy-mouthed, dumb fuck white boys on that show that like don't know what they want or how to act. It's so funny. I'll stop there and just say you should probably watch 90 Day Fiancé.
Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I am Malcolm Reed. Today we're going to be going down to the Philippines and just have a gathering with his whole family.
Yeah.
We stole a hog from the local farmer. He doesn't know that we got in there because it's really hard to get pork down here. I'm going to be rubbing it down with some thyme leaves, some brown sugar, some honey.
I'm going to be building a hut down the beach, and inside is my wife.
I'm going to drink the pig's blood.
I'm going to walk into our hut ripe with the stench of pig's blood. I'm going to wrap my arms around my wife.
It's going to be a real good time. Let's get to cooking.
The point is, watch that show because those people are bad, and it's really fun.
Garbage TV, dude.
I know it's like not good.
It's hard to resist a train wreck here and there.
Yeah, it's just so much fun.
It's hard to resist a train wreck.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. So that's that.
All right. My recommendation is just if you haven't already, go out to BJ's Brew House in Boardman.
Yeah.
I have not.
Have you, Chris?
Yes, I have.
Awesome. They have a gigantic fucking menu, like fucking huge. I have some personal favorites on there in the form of there's a buckwheat soba noodle bowl.
That sounds interesting.
With grilled chicken. There's a spicy peanut sauce. There's sesame and carrot shavings, and
nice.
It's so good. There's a sandwich called the Southern Comfort, which is a bit like a chicken cordon bleu, but just ever so slightly different. Comes with real sweet mustard. They're just the sheer variety of stuff on this menu and the combinations of ingredients. There's a lot of fusion stuff that goes on in that menu. It's so good.
What do they got in the way of burgers?
In the way of burgers, they got plenty.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of burgers.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you got burgers, you got steaks, you got seafood, you got noodles, you got all sorts of light dishes.
Yeah.
They make these amazing honey sriracha Brussels sprouts as an appetizer.
Oh, shit.
There's that. There's pot stickers. I mean,
Pot stickers.
any place that serves a good plate of pot stickers.
Oh, I
is
fucking love pot.
just the bomb.
Can we
in my
talk
book.
about how fucking good pot stickers are?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
They're known in Japan as gyoza, pork dumplings.
Yes.
And they're just a fantastic food. They make it as street food over in Japan. But of course, it's called BJ's Brew House, so you got to talk about the beer.
I was gonna ask you, they got something really good that you like?
Beer. Beer.
You know, they have a
I'm sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. Beer.
They have a
It's his face, isn't it?
yeah. They have a I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a red lager that's really, really tasty.
Okay, I'll just rate red lager.
Yeah, it's
Lager.
it's one of the reds that they have. But yeah, they got pilsners, lagers, stouts. They got the one or two reds there, and of course, any other old beer bar standby you could want as far as beer goes. But I mean, if you're going there, you got to try their in-house beer.
Absolutely.
When's the last time you were there?
Last time I was there was maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. I was there with Aubrey getting lunch.
See, the only thing I didn't like about that place is I had 7 different people take care of me when I was there.
Really?
Yeah, I had one person guide me to the table, another person bring me my silverware, another person take my drink orders, another person bring the drink orders.
See, that has not been the standard for
So
me.
hopefully they've changed that.
Must have just been a chaotic
Well,
day.
it's just I've been there a couple times and that was always the case. And the food was good, but it was like,
yes.
Yeah.
that was the only
Our
thing that threw me
principal
off.
silverwaresman is on his way.
But the beer was good.
Yeah, I can tell you that hasn't been the case for me. Sit at the bar one day and just have a few beers and
should
order
do
yourself.
that.
The 3 of us should do that
maybe this
sometime.
weekend.
We
Even we
should
could
do
do
that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
this weekend.
Maybe? Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
That's so funny.
If you guys
Anyone
don't know what
doesn't
that
know
is-
what that is, that sounds insane. We just
Yeah.
keep going.
It's from the really crappy American version of Iron Chef.
Yeah.
The guy announcing
Chef?
Iron. Did I say Iron Chef?
did.
Yeah, Iron Chef.
Iron Schefter.
It's the guy who announced. He's the chairman Kaga of the American version. The guy who announces.
Do you remember what his name is on the?
I don't know. Who cares? Of course
His
not.
name is Mr. Beer.
Yeah, right. But when he
as far as
announces
I care.
he tries to put the same cadence into it that Chairman Kaga did on the original Japanese show, but he ends up sounding like a fucking idiot most of the time. Then one of the ingredients was beer, and he just was like, beer.
Oh, that's another thing. Just a very brief interjection. It's another thing I hate about watching the guys on the 90 Day Fiance is they all talk to people that can't speak English like puppies. Where they're pointing at a chicken, going chicken, chicken, buck, chicken.
Yeah, right.
They'll pick up like an accent. They'll be like it's so fucking weird to watch people not be able to speak
You
someone
think
else's
you could
language.
at least bring a fucking phrase book?
Yeah, right.
One guy did. One guy used Google Translate the whole time. And oh god, and amazingly, when he said he wanted to marry a guy's daughter, he's talking to the dad, proposing, and he's doing this gesture, like a ring gesture, but it's the sex gesture too, and he doesn't realize it. He's doing the finger in a hole gesture. Anyway, sorry.
Me and your daughter?
Yeah. The thing that made Christy laugh really hard was
Me, your daughter?
me, your daughter. The thing that made Christy laugh really hard was a guy who's sitting on a bed in like I can't remember where the hell they are. They're like sitting on a mattress, him and his new fiance or whatever, and her parents. And he says, please tell your mother she's very beautiful. And then there's a pause, and he says, and your father, he's very handsome. Which is not a thing you say. No one does that, right? but he's so awkward that he just goes, and your father is very handsome.
I think, like, I'm just known to my father-in-law. I think I would have been, like, physically thrown out of the house.
You might have got hit.
There would have been, like, at the very least, I would have gotten, like, a, okay.
Yeah, like imagine just, you didn't tell me that you didn't tell me she was so beautiful.
It's already awkward enough the first time.
And your dad.
But your dad.
He's-
Woo!
Dad's-
Pork that guy.
Your dad's a straight up fox. Holy shit.
man,
Why did you not tell me that?
I want to prone bone the shit out of that guy.
Prone bone.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. You really just,
You just lay him
Jam it in
flat
there,
and then
yeah.
you just, you know,
yeah.
like he's planking, but. Anyway,
Anywho,
BJ's Brewhouse, huh?
yes.
I got
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, go there.
Check it out.
The service is good. The food is great. The beers are fucking amazing.
You know, now being Lenten time, you might catch some interesting things there that you wouldn't normally get.
Yeah,
Yes.
like people fishing into the fish tank.
Like a man on the roof with a very long reel, just,
Yeah. Two Japanese men
Fucking sword.
fucking right on the bar.
What?
You might see some things you don't normally see, like two men in Godzilla costumes punching each other in the face.
A clown on stilts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Ronald McDonald drinking out of a bowl of pig's blood.
The actual BJ shitting into the mouth of a ordinary server.
Anyway,
And a fugu fish on the floor left unattended.
Yeah.
I apologize because I haven't really been taking notes.
I got some.
But what have we learned?
I learned that you got to get yourself a nice sushi parmesan at Golden Dawn Italian Bistro.
So fucking gross. I learned that Malcolm Reed loves barbecuing his wife.
Hey, everybody, I'm Malcolm Reed.
Malcolm Reed.
Today I'm going to be binding my wife up with some rope, some duct tape.
And a couple of bottles of sweet baby.
Right. I'm going to get her all tied up. I'm going to beat the shit out of her in front of our son.
Jesus Christ.
Let's get down to scarring.
What else have we learned?
Wow. I learned that bad winter traffic is up there with death and taxes. Always count on it.
I wrote that there's too much stuff in the stuffed Oreos.
There's too much
stuff.
The quad stuff is too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Double stuff is too much stuff.
I agree.
Even regular Oreos might be too much stuff.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I learned that the Italians use the knife, and they are great liars.
I wrote down treats by Dre for your dog.
Nice. I learned that things have thingness.
Yeah,
An essential thingness about them.
Yeah, I wrote Cucked by Dr. Doom, the Thing story. In that same vein?
Beats by Dr. Doom.
I also learned that we are meat machines, and maybe we're not responsible for whatever we do.
Yeah. The last thing I wrote here is just do what you're going to do and just end it. Dave Dragowski. 2020.
Now that is not what I meant, but I don't like it. Just, just do what you're gonna do. And then,
just
end
but
it.
it's the way you said it. Like, just do what you're going to do and just end it.
This falls in line with she totally doesn't, though, as bad times to say things that I
Wait,
said.
no, I didn't. Didn't mean that.
Not what I meant. Not what I meant. Well,
All
okay.
right.
This is a good one.
Yeah. You guys are good
It's all
ones.
right.
You're a good
I
one.
like both of you guys.
You guys are both good ones.
All right. We'll come back next week when. Is
It
next
might-
time going to be Hot One?
It might be.
It might
Let's
be.
tease it, even if it's not next week. We have a plan very soon to do a Hot Ones episode.
Yes.
An episode based on the Hot Ones series on YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be this next episode. If it isn't, it will probably be the one right after.
Okay.
So, and that will be hosted by Christy.
I'm going to try very hard to make my own hot sauce for that episode and make it taste good. So
really?
I guess
Okay.
it's worth. The surprise.
Well, that would be very fucking exciting.
I'm gonna try, and because it seems like we have the really hot stuff covered.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna try and make something that's hot, but not like.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because we got the last dab, obviously. We got that horribly bitter, painful, mean, nasty fucking thing.
Yeah.
The other hot one sauce.
Yeah, the dragon's breath.
That mean sauce. And those occupy the very high end. So anywhere underneath that is belongs in the lineup.
I'm shooting for like 50,000 Scovilles.
Ooh,
somewhere in that ballpark.
measure that shit.
I can measure it by the peppers that I'm putting into it.
Right.
I
can measure it by tasting some with my fingers and then accidentally touching my penis before going to the bathroom.
accidentally.
And then intentionally rubbing it on my penis.
Right.
But yeah, that might be next episode. It might not. Either way, we will be back in a couple of weeks with another episode of this Dudecast.
Of this cast.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Podcast.
A good night.
Good night. Thanks
night.
for listening. See you next time. Goodbye.
A Riverdale
We're not gonna fucking see them, whether they're listening to us.
I know. I get that.
Yeah, but like it's like a tremendous oversight.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's not really because it's just how people say things.
well, okay, but like I don't say things that way. So,
Yeah, well, you don't, but
well,
I do.
normal-
That's the way I say things.
okay, well that's wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just
well,
saying.
no, I don't think it's necessarily wrong.
They're not gonna fucking see
Yeah,
us.
I know that they're not going to see us. That's just how people talk about
Dude,
things.
I can't fucking wait for this to be over. I'm fucking out of this. So fucking over the whole thing.